Good day, lovely viewers. Welcome to Cross Naruto. We have an exciting story lined up for you today. What if Naruto was the primordial destruction sage, the god who existed before Beerus? Naruto x Vados x 18. Your engagement means the world to us. Like, comment, and subscribe to help us grow and bring you more amazing content. Without wasting any time, let's start. Chapter 1, The Awakening. The cosmic tapestry of Universe 6 rippled. Something wasn't right. Vados paused mid-flight, her staff glowing as she sensed a disturbance unlike anything she'd encountered in her thousands of years serving as an angel attendant. The energy wasn't divine, wasn't mortal, wasn't anything she recognized. How peculiar, she murmured, changing course toward the anomaly. Her brother Whis would have told her to report this immediately to the Grand Priest, but Vados had always been the more curious of the two. Besides, Lord Kampa was napping after another embarrassing training session. He wouldn't miss her for hours. The disturbance led her to an uninhabited planet, little more than a barren rock with thin atmosphere. Nothing special except for the pulsing energy core at its center, calling to her like a beacon. This energy signature doesn't match any recorded divine pattern, she said to herself, scanning the area. Not destruction, not creation, older, perhaps. As she descended through the planet's crust, her divine form passing effortlessly through solid rock, the energy grew more intense. Vados emerged into a massive crystalline cavern that shouldn't exist. Crystal formations larger than mountains stretched in impossible geometries, all pulsing with golden-orange light that reminded her strangely of sunlight. At the center floated a single crystal prison. Inside was the silhouette of a man. Well now, Vados approached cautiously, what are you doing here? The figure was humanoid, spiky hair, athletic build, arms crossed as if in meditation. But the energy radiating from him was unmistakably ancient. Predating even the gods of destruction. Vados circled the crystal, studying the intricate seal markings etched into its surface, symbols she'd never seen before, yet somehow recognized. They weren't angelic script, weren't the language of the gods, weren't anything recorded in the celestial archives. I shouldn't touch this, she said, even as her hand reached toward it. This is clearly sealed for a reason. Her fingertips brushed the crystal surface. The reaction was immediate. Cracks spread across the crystal like lightning, golden energy pouring from the fractures. Vados jumped back, staff at the ready as the entire cavern began to shake. Oh my! That was careless of me. The crystal shattered with a sound that transcended mere noise. It was a reality-splitting crack that echoed across dimensions. Golden energy exploded outward, knocking Vados back despite her angelic power. For the first time in eons, she felt something akin to fear. As the light faded, a figure stood where the crystal had been. A young man with spiky blonde hair, strange facial markings like whiskers, and eyes that shifted between deep blue and slitted crimson. He wore tattered remains of what might once have been orange and black clothing, now faded to ghostly hints of their former color. He stretched, joints popping, as if waking from a long sleep. Man, that was one hell of a nap, he said, voice rough from disuse. How long was I out? Vados blinked. This primordial entity with power that made even her divine senses quiver, spoke like a casual teenager. Approximately several billion years, if my assessment of your energy signature is correct, she answered, maintaining her distance. The blonde looked at her, really looked at her, and his eyes widened with recognition. You're an angel, he said. But not like any I remember. He tilted his head. The ones I knew were all old dudes with beards. When did they start making you all cute? Vados raised an eyebrow. I beg your pardon. Sorry, he waved a hand. Been sealed a while. Brains foggy. He looked around, taking in the crystal cavern. Where are we? This doesn't look like, well, anywhere I remember. Universe 6, Vados answered. Though I suspect that designation means nothing to you. 6. He frowned. There were 18 last I checked. Or was it 22? He pressed his palms to his temples. Damn it, I can't remember. And you are? Vados kept her tone light, though her grip on her staff tightened. Naruto, he answered, then paused. Naruto Uzumaki. He nodded, more confident. Yeah, that's right. I'm Naruto. And what exactly are you, Naruto Uzumaki? Your energy signature predates any life form in our records. Naruto opened his mouth to answer but doubled over instead, golden energy crackling around him. Something's wrong, he gasped. My power, it's not here. Not all of it. He looked up at Vados, eyes now blazing crimson. It's scattered. Breaking free. The seal, it didn't just contain me. It contained my chakra. And now the entire cavern lurched. Crystal formations shattered as reality itself seemed to warp. We need to go, Naruto said, suddenly beside Vados. This whole planet's gonna blow. That's impossible. Planet-wide destruction requires divine. Naruto grabbed her arm, actually grabbed an angel's arm, and suddenly they were elsewhere, standing on an asteroid field thousands of miles from the planet. Behind them, the planet collapsed in on itself before exploding outward in a nova of golden energy. What did you just do? Vados asked, genuinely shocked. That wasn't instant transmission. Hiration, Naruto said absently, watching the planet's destruction with a grimace. Flying Thunder God technique. I marked you when you touched the crystal. Before Vados could process the implications of an entity that could mark an angel, Naruto continued. That's the first one, he said, pointing to streams of golden energy shooting out from the explosion in 12 different directions. First chakra nexus point. There are 12 total, no, 13. There's always a hidden one. He turned to Vados. We need to stabilize them before they rip holes in reality. Vados raised an eyebrow. I don't recall agreeing to assist an unknown entity of potentially dangerous origin. Naruto looked at her, really looked at her, and for a moment Vados saw something ancient and vast behind those eyes, like staring into a sun that had witnessed the birth of the first star. You freed me, he said simply. That makes you responsible. Besides. His expression softened. There's something about you. Something familiar. I think I knew someone like you, before. The sincerity in his voice was jarring. Angels didn't get Jared. Very well, Vados found herself saying. But at the first sign of deception, you'll erase me from existence, blah blah blah, Naruto grinned, and suddenly looked younger, almost boyish. I get the drill. But we should hurry, the first nexus is stabilizing in that direction. He pointed toward a distant star system. How can you possibly know that? It's my chakra, Naruto said, as if it were obvious. Part of me. I can feel it. Without waiting for a response, he shot off into space, moving at speeds that should be impossible for anyone without divine energy manipulation. Vados sighed. Lord Kampa will be most displeased if he wakes up hungry and I'm not there. She glanced at the receding figure. But I suppose universal stability takes precedence over pudding cups. She followed. The first chakra nexus manifested on a jungle world populated by primitive reptilian species. By the time Vados and Naruto arrived, the entire ecosystem had gone haywire. Plants grew to monstrous sizes, animals mutated, and the very laws of physics seemed optional in areas close to the nexus. Your energy is causing this? Vados asked as they hovered above the canopy of mammoth trees. Not causing, accelerating, Naruto corrected. Chakra is life energy. It amplifies what's already there. He pointed to a massive tree in the distance, pulsing with golden light. That's where the nexus formed. We need to stabilize it before, a deafening roar cut him off. The canopy below them erupted as something massive burst through, a dinosaur-like creature the size of a small mountain, its body covered in golden markings that pulsed with the same rhythm as the distant tree. Before that happens, Naruto finished, looking more annoyed than concerned. The creature spotted them and roared again, the sound distorting reality around it. "Stand back," Vados said, raising her staff. "I'll handle this disruption." "No." Naruto caught her arm. "Don't kill it. It's just responding to the chakra. I can fix this." Before Vados could respond, Naruto dropped toward the creature, golden energy flowing around him. The reptilian beast snapped at him with jaws that could swallow a house, but Naruto twisted in mid-air, landing on the creature's snout. "Hey there, big guy," he said, placing his palm between the creature's eyes. "This might feel weird." Golden energy flowed from Naruto into the beast. For a moment, it thrashed wildly, nearly destroying the surrounding forest. Then it gradually calmed, its markings fading as Naruto extracted the excess chakra. Vados watched, fascinated despite herself. The technique wasn't divine energy manipulation, it was something else entirely, more integrated with natural forces. More, primordial. The creature, now returned to a more manageable size, though still enormous, rumbled softly and retreated into the jungle. Naruto floated back up to Vados, a small golden sphere swirling in his palm. "One down," he said. "Let's hit the main nexus before more wildlife gets juiced up." They flew toward the massive golden tree. As they approached, Vados noticed the air becoming thicker with energy, visible as golden motes that swirled and danced like conscious entities. "The concentration of energy here exceeds even Hikation levels," she observed. "Yeah, chakra's potent stuff when it's raw like this." Naruto's face grew serious. "When we get to the nexus, I'll need to reabsorb and stabilize it. Might get messy." Defined messy. "Last time I did something like this, I accidentally created a moon." He shrugged at her expression. "What? I was younger then. Less control." They landed at the base of the colossal tree. Its roots spread for miles, pulsing with golden light that flowed like blood through veins. At the center was a swirling vortex of pure chakra, spinning faster with each passing moment. "That's not good," Naruto muttered. "It's accelerating too quickly. Can you still stabilize it?" "Yeah, but," he was cut off by a sudden spike in the energy vortex. The tree groaned, bending toward them as if sentient and angry. "Damn it, it's becoming semi-conscious. Chakra does that sometimes." The tree's branches whipped down toward them. Vados deflected them easily with her staff, but more kept coming. "I need to get closer." Naruto shouted over the roar of energy. "Allow me." Vados twirled her staff, creating a path through the thrashing branches. Naruto dashed forward, only to be blindsided by a root that erupted from the ground. It wrapped around him, squeezing with enough force to crush mountains. "That tickles," Naruto grinned. His body flashed golden and the root disintegrated. He pressed forward, reaching the swirling vortex. "Here goes nothing," he said, plunging both hands into the maelstrom. The effect was immediate and catastrophic. Energy exploded outward, then violently reversed course, flowing into Naruto. His body lifted off the ground, surrounded by a cocoon of golden light. The tree, the forest, the entire ecosystem seemed to hold its breath. Vados watched, staff ready, as Naruto's form began to change within the light. 6 glowing arms sprouted from his back, his hair lengthened and waved as if underwater, and a crown of golden horns formed above his brow. For a moment, she glimpsed what might be his true form, something ancient and divine and terrifying in its beauty. Then it was over. The light collapsed inward, and Naruto dropped to his knees, once again appearing as a young man with blonde hair, though now his eyes glowed with inner light, and faint markings like circuitry traced patterns on his skin before fading. "Naruto?" Vados approached cautiously. "I'm good," he gasped, standing shakily. "Just, haven't done that in a while." "What exactly did you do?" Reabsorbed the nexus. Stabilized this section of reality. He rolled his shoulders. Got a chunk of my memories back in the process. And those memories are... Naruto looked at her, expression complex. I remember who I am. What I am. Which is... the primordial sage of destruction. He said it without pride, without drama, a simple statement of fact. Before your gods of destruction, before the Kais, before this version of reality, there was me. Vados processed this. Impossible. The divine hierarchy has existed since the beginning of this cycle, Naruto cut in. There were others before. Many others. Before Vados could question him further, both of them tensed, sensing a new presence, multiple presences, approaching rapidly. We've got company, Naruto said, eyes narrowing. And they don't feel friendly. 6 figures materialized around them, humanoid but clearly not mortal. They wore ornate armor that seemed to shift between solid matter and pure energy, and their faces were obscured by masks showing different cosmic phenomena. Containment Squad of the Cosmic Council, the leader announced, voice resonating on multiple frequencies. Unauthorized primordial entity detected. Stand aside, Angel. This is beyond your jurisdiction. Vados didn't move. I recognize no authority of any Cosmic Council over an Angel of Universe 6. This isn't about universal jurisdiction, another figure said. This is about existential threat containment. That entity's emergence has already triggered reality fractures across 3 neighboring universes. The leader pointed at Naruto. By authority of the Cosmic Council, you will return to containment until proper assessment can be performed. Naruto sighed. Look, I just woke up, and I'm really not in the mood for this bureaucratic bullshit. He cracked his knuckles. How about you guys go back to whatever cosmic cubicles you crawled out of, and we pretend this never happened. Resistance is, Naruto moved. One moment he was standing beside Vados, the next he was behind the leader, hand on the being's shoulder. Futile, the leader finished, then gasped as golden energy spread from Naruto's touch, immobilizing him. Actually, Naruto said, your timing is perfect. I need information. His eyes began to glow. And you're going to give it to me. The other 5 squad members attacked simultaneously. Vados sighed and entered the fray, her staff becoming a blur as she intercepted 2 of them. This is most unseemly, she said, deflecting energy blasts with casual grace. Fighting is so uncivilized when conversation would suffice. Naruto, meanwhile, was handling the other 3 with surprising ease. He fought differently than any entity Vados had observed, no pure energy blasts or simple power displays. Instead, he used an intricate fighting style that seemed to redirect his opponent's energy against them, all while golden chains of light occasionally materialized to restrain or redirect. You know, Naruto called as he flipped over an attack, for cosmic police or whatever, you guys kinda suck at this. We are merely the advanced team, one replied. The judges will, yeah, the big guns are coming. Got it. Naruto formed a swirling sphere of energy in his palm and slammed it into the being's chest, sending them flying into the stratosphere. Within minutes, all 6 were subdued, 5 unconscious and the leader restrained by golden chains that seemed to flow directly from Naruto's life force. Nice moves, Naruto nodded to Vados. You angels always did have style. Thank you, Vados said, smoothing a non-existent wrinkle from her robes. Though I find it curious that an entity claiming to predate angels would be familiar with our combat techniques. I'm old, not blind, Naruto grinned. I've been watching, even while sealed. His expression grew serious as he turned to the captive leader. Now then. Let's chat. The interrogation was brief but informative. The Cosmic Council, a group that apparently operated outside the traditional divine hierarchy, had detected Naruto's awakening immediately. They considered primordial entities like him dangerous anomalies that threatened cosmic stability. More forces would be coming, including entities called cosmic judges, with power to rival the Grand Priest. Great, Naruto muttered after extracting this information and rendering the leader unconscious. Just what I needed. Cosmic hull monitors with god complexes. This complicates matters, Vados observed. If these judges are as powerful as claimed, even I would be outmatched. Don't worry about them, Naruto waved dismissively. They're annoying but manageable. The bigger problem is the other nexus points. Now that one's stabilized, the others will activate faster. He closed his eyes, sensing. I can feel them. 11 more, scattered across different universes. And the hidden 13th? Naruto smiled faintly. You caught that, huh? Smart. The 13th is special. It'll only activate when the others are stabilized. His expression darkened. But we have another problem. I'm not the only one who can sense these nexus points. Someone else is aware of them. More than aware. Naruto's eyes opened, now deadly serious. Someone else wants them. Someone who's been waiting for me to wake up almost as long as I've been asleep. He looked up at the sky. And she's not going to be happy to see me. She. An old friend. Of sorts. Naruto shook his head. Details aren't important right now. What matters is reaching the next nexus before she does. I can sense a major one activating in Universe 7. On a planet called Earth. Earth? Vados raised an eyebrow. That's where Lord Beerus's strange obsession Goku resides. Goku? Naruto frowned. Name doesn't ring a bell. Is he strong? Quite. For a mortal. Though nothing compared to divine beings. Interesting, Naruto mused. A strong mortal might be useful if this gets messy. He stretched, golden energy briefly outlining his form. So, you coming with me to this Earth place? Vados should have refused. Should have reported to the Grand Priest. Should have, at minimum, returned to Lord Kampa. Instead, she found herself intrigued by this strange entity who wielded power older than the gods themselves, yet spoke like an excitable youth. There was something compelling about him, something that resonated with parts of her angelic nature she'd long suppressed. I suppose someone must ensure you don't cause interdimensional incidents, she said primly, twirling her staff. Though I expect a full explanation of your origins once we've addressed this nexus situation. Naruto grinned, the expression transforming his face from ancient deity to mischievous youngster. Deal. I'll even throw in some ramen if they have it on Earth. At her blank look, he gasped dramatically. Don't tell me you've never had ramen. Oh man, we need to fix that immediately. Before Vados could respond, a massive tremor shook the planet. In the distance, reality itself seemed to ripple. That's our cue to leave, Naruto said, suddenly serious again. The stabilized nexus is creating a temporary reality pocket. This whole jungle dimension will be inaccessible for a few hundred years. How do you propose we travel to Universe 7? Even I would require significant time to. Naruto stepped closer, his hand gently touching her staff. I've got a shortcut. But you'll need to guide us. I don't know this version of reality's pathways yet. Something passed between them at the contact, a current of energy unlike anything Vados had experienced before. Not threatening, not invasive, just different. Ancient. Primal. Very well, she said, regaining her composure. Focus on my staff. Envision Earth in Universe 7. Naruto nodded, closing his eyes. Golden energy flowed from him into the staff, merging with Vados's divine power. The combination created a swirling vortex of gold and teal light. This is gonna be rough, Naruto warned as reality began to fold around them. Interdimensional travel was never my specialty. How reassuring, Vados said dryly. The vortex engulfed them, and the jungle world vanished in a flash of light. The unconscious cosmic council agents were left behind as the dimension began to fold in on itself, the stabilized nexus point pulling reality around it like a cosmic blanket. Across 12 points in the multiverse, 11 more nexus points pulsed in response. And somewhere beyond conventional spacetime, something ancient and powerful stirred in anticipation. The hunt for the chakra nexus points had begun. Universe 7 was different. Naruto felt it immediately as they emerged from the interdimensional corridor. The energy signature, the cosmic frequency, even the underlying reality structure, all subtly but unmistakably different from Universe 6. Man, that's disorienting, he muttered, steadying himself in the upper atmosphere of Earth. Universes didn't used to be so segregated. The current multiverse system was established by Zeno-sama, Vados explained, looking perfectly composed despite their chaotic journey. 12 universes, each with its own god of destruction, Supreme Kai, and Angel. Zeno. Naruto frowned. Little guy, big power, childlike personality. You know of Zeno-sama? Vados looked genuinely surprised. Let's just say our paths crossed a long, long time ago. Naruto's expression was unreadable. But that's ancient history. Like, literally ancient. He closed his eyes, sensing. The nexus point is below. Somewhere in that region. He pointed to a large landmass. That appears to be the area humans call North America, Vados observed. Shall we proceed? Before Naruto could answer, a new energy signature caught his attention, powerful, approaching fast. Someone's coming, he said. Strong, too. For this world anyway. A figure appeared in the distance, flying toward them at impressive speed. As it drew closer, Naruto could make out a man with spiky black hair wearing an orange GI. That's Goku, Vados said. How curious that he sensed our arrival so quickly. The man pulled up short, hovering a cautious distance away. His expression was open but alert, a warrior's assessment. Hey there, he called with surprising cheerfulness. You must be friends of Whis. I felt your energy show up and thought I'd check it out. His gaze shifted to Naruto, eyes narrowing slightly. Your energy feels different. Not like anyone I've met before. Naruto grinned despite himself. There was something refreshingly straightforward about this Goku person. I'm Naruto, he said. And yeah, my energy's probably pretty weird to you. Naruto's from before your time, son Goku, Vados added. Before anyone's time, really. Whoa, seriously? Goku's eyes widened. Like, older than Beerus? Older than the Kais? Much older, Naruto confirmed. But that's not important right now. We're tracking a powerful energy source that manifested somewhere on your planet. Felt anything unusual lately? Goku scratched his head. Now that you mention it, there's been this strange energy spike near the northern wastelands. Vegeta and I were gonna check it out, but then we got distracted sparring. He grinned sheepishly. You know how it goes. The northern wastelands, Vados murmured. That matches the energy signature I'm detecting. Mind if we tag along? Goku asked, eyes lighting up with excitement. If there's something powerful, I want to see it. Naruto exchanged glances with Vados. Having a local guide might be useful, especially one familiar with this world's power systems. Plus, something about this Goku reminded Naruto of himself. A younger, more innocent version, perhaps. Sure, Naruto decided. But fair warning, things might get weird. Like, reality-bending weird. Awesome. Goku pumped a fist. That's way more interesting than just training all day. Follow me. As they flew toward the northern wastelands, Naruto found himself surprisingly comfortable with Goku's presence. The Scion, as Vados explained he was, asked straightforward questions without the suspicion or fear most would show toward an ancient primordial entity. So you're like, what, some kind of super ancient god? Goku asked as they soared over mountains. Something like that, Naruto replied. The Primordial Sage of Destruction, if you want the fancy title. Cool. So you're like Beerus, but older? Naruto chuckled. Beerus is to me what a candle is to the sun. No offense to your destruction god. Man, that's amazing. We should totally spar sometime. Goku, Vados interjected, perhaps challenging primordial entities to casual combat isn't the wisest course of action. Ah, come on. How often do I get to test myself against someone that powerful? Naruto laughed outright. I like your style, Goku. Maybe after we handle this nexus situation, we can. He stopped abruptly, sensing a massive spike in energy ahead. The chakra nexus was activating, far faster than he'd anticipated. We need to hurry, he said, all humor gone. Something's accelerating the process. They increased their speed, soaring over a vast rocky wasteland. In the distance, a pillar of golden light erupted from the ground, stretching into the stratosphere. Whoa! Goku exclaimed. That energy feels alive somehow. It is alive, Naruto said grimly. And it's unstable. As they approached, the true scale of the situation became clear. The nexus had manifested at the center of a massive crater, golden energy swirling in patterns that defied conventional physics. But unlike the jungle world nexus, this one wasn't merging with the environment, it was tearing it apart. Reality itself seemed to be unraveling around the energy vortex. This is wrong, Naruto muttered. The nexus is corrupted somehow. Could your old friend be responsible? Vados asked. Possibly. Naruto's eyes narrowed as he scanned the area. Or someone else might be interfering, wait. He tensed, pointing to a figure standing at the edge of the energy vortex. Who's that? The figure wore a strange armored suit with tubes connecting to a helmet. Even from a distance, Naruto could see they were somehow siphoning energy from the nexus. I don't recognize them, Goku said, dropping into a fighting stance midair. But anyone messing with that energy can't be good news. Agreed, Vados said. Their technology appears to be drawing power from the nexus for some purpose. Naruto didn't wait for further discussion. He shot forward, landing heavily enough to create a small crater several dozen yards from the mysterious figure. Hey, he shouted over the roar of energy. Step away from the nexus. The figure turned slowly. Through their helmet visor, Naruto could make out cold, calculating eyes. Fascinating, a mechanically distorted voice emerged from the helmet. You must be the source entity. Your energy signature matches the nexus perfectly. Who are you? Naruto demanded as Goku and Vados landed beside him. Dr. Moro, the figure replied. Interdimensional researcher and energy specialist. And you, my friend, are the scientific discovery of a lifetime. He's siphoning the nexus energy into those containers, Vados observed, pointing to several metallic devices planted around the vortex. That energy isn't meant to be contained like that, Naruto warned. You need to stop before what? Dr. Moro laughed. Before I harness the most powerful energy source the multiverse has ever seen. Do you have any idea what this could accomplish? Unlimited power. Interdimensional travel. Perhaps even time manipulation. Before you rip a hole in reality that can't be fixed, Naruto snapped. That energy is part of me, and I'm taking it back. He stepped forward, but Dr. Moro raised a hand. I wouldn't, if I were you. My equipment is linked directly to the nexus core. One wrong move and the reaction becomes catastrophic. I'm talking universe-ending catastrophic. Goku tensed beside Naruto. Is he bluffing? Maybe, Naruto murmured. But I can't risk it. The nexus is too unstable already. Dr. Moro seemed to smile behind his helmet. Smart boy. Now, here's what's going to happen. You're going to tell me exactly what this energy is and how to fully control it. In exchange, I won't destabilize the nexus. Counter offer, Naruto replied, his voice suddenly deeper, more resonant. You walk away now, and I don't reduce you to your component atoms. Golden energy began swirling around Naruto, his eyes shifting to crimson. The ground beneath his feet cracked as power rolled off him in waves. For the first time, Dr. Moro showed hesitation. You're bluffing. You wouldn't risk the nexus. The nexus is already at risk because of your interference, Vados pointed out coolly. Its natural integration has been corrupted. Which means I need to take more direct measures, Naruto said. He raised his hand, and golden chains of pure energy shot from his palm, wrapping around the nearest collection device before Dr. Moro could react. No, the scientist shouted. You'll trigger a chain reaction. The device exploded in a shower of sparks and golden light. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the nexus pulsed, contracting before expanding violently. A shockwave of energy knocked everyone back, even Vados. What did you do? Dr. Moro screamed, scrambling to his equipment. Forced the issue, Naruto replied, standing firm against the energy storm. Vados, get Goku out of here. This is about to get messy. I ain't leaving. Goku shouted over the roar of energy, his hair flashing golden as he transformed. I can help. Not with this, you can't, Naruto said, his body beginning to glow with the same energy as the nexus. This isn't about power, it's about compatibility. The nexus surged again, this time sending out tendrils of energy that whipped through the air like living things. One slashed across Dr. Moro's suit, severing the tubes. The scientist screamed as raw chakra poured into his system. What's happening to me? He gasped, his body contorting as golden lines spread across his skin. Your body can't handle pure chakra, Naruto explained grimly. It's rewriting your cellular structure. Before their eyes, Dr. Moro began to transform, his body growing, shifting, becoming something inhuman. His arms elongated into blade-like appendages, his torso expanding to twice its normal size, and his head splitting into a three-pronged crown of bone and chakra. Power, the transformed Dr. Moro roared, voice no longer human. I can feel it. The universe itself bends to my will. He lashed out with one blade arm, the attack moving faster than even Goku could track. It sliced through the air, leaving a literal tear in reality that leaked golden energy. Okay, that's bad, Naruto muttered. He turned to Vados. Change of plans. I need you and Goku to keep him busy while I stabilize the nexus. Are you certain? Vados asked. The nexus appears highly volatile. No choice. If it fully destabilizes, this whole solar system goes poof. Naruto looked at Goku. Think you can handle keeping that thing occupied for a few minutes? Goku grinned, powering up further, his hair growing longer. Super Saiyan 3 should do the trick. Just hurry up with your energy thing. My thoughts exactly, Vados said, twirling her staff. Though I find it distasteful to exert myself over such a crude creature. Thanks, Naruto said, then dashed toward the Nexus core as Goku and Vados engaged the transformed scientist. The core was chaos incarnate, a swirling vortex of golden energy that twisted reality around it. Naruto could feel it pulling at him, recognizing its original source. He took a deep breath and plunged his hands into the maelstrom. Pain unlike anything he'd experienced in eons shot through his system. This nexus was different, corrupted by Moro's experiments and its own instability. It wasn't just returning to Naruto, it was fighting him. Come on, he growled, golden markings spreading across his skin as he drew more of his true power. You're part of me. Remember who you are. Remember who I am. Behind him, the battle raged. Goku and Vados worked in surprising harmony against the monster Moro had become. The Scion's raw power complemented Vados' technical precision, keeping the creature contained despite its reality-warping attacks. Naruto pushed deeper into the nexus, feeling his consciousness expanding as he connected with the primal energy. Memories flooded back, fragments of his past, of who he'd been before the long sleep. He saw flashes of ancient battles against beings of pure chaos. Of a council of primordial sages. Of a woman with white hair and alien eyes who had once been his greatest ally, then his greatest enemy. Kagaya, he whispered, the name unlocking another flood of memories. The nexus responded to the name, pulsing with what felt almost like fear. Naruto pushed harder, forcing his will upon the chaotic energy. I am Naruto Uzumaki, he declared, voice echoing with power. The primordial sage of destruction. This power is mine, and I reclaim it. The nexus shuddered, then began to collapse inward, flowing into Naruto's body. Golden light engulfed him, lifting him off the ground as his form began to change, not into a monster like Moro, but into something transcendent. 6 glowing arms materialized behind him, moving in intricate patterns that wove reality back together. His hair lengthened, flowing upward as if underwater. Marks like ancient seals covered his skin, glowing with inner light. A crown of golden horns formed above his brow. The transformed Moro sensed the shift in power and turned from his battle with Goku and Vados. No, he roared. That power belongs to me now. I claimed it. He charged toward Naruto, reality-cutting blades extended. Without looking, Naruto raised one hand. Wait your turn, he said, voice resonating on multiple frequencies. A pulse of golden energy froze Moro in midair. Whoa, Goku whispered, landing beside Vados. His power just jumped to a whole other level. Indeed, Vados murmured, eyes wide. This is unexpected. The nexus continued pouring into Naruto, filling him with power and memory and purpose. When the last of it had been absorbed, he slowly descended to the ground, his additional arms fading, though the markings and horns remained. He turned to face the still frozen Moro. Now for you, Naruto said, approaching the transformed scientist. You wanted chakra. Let's see how you handle having it properly regulated. He placed a hand on Moro's chest. Golden energy flowed between them, but this time extracting rather than infusing. Moro's mutated form began to shrink, the blade arms retracting, the bone crown dissolving. Within moments, he was human again, collapsing unconscious to the ground. He'll live, Naruto said, his voice returning to normal as his appearance gradually reverted as well, the horns receding, the markings fading. Though he's going to have one hell of a headache when he wakes up. That was amazing. Goku exclaimed, powering down from Super Saiyan 3. What exactly did you do? Reclaimed and stabilized the nexus, Naruto explained, looking suddenly exhausted. And got back another chunk of my memories in the process. Your true form is quite impressive, Vados observed, studying him with new interest. Not at all what I expected from ancient legends of the primordial sages. Yeah, well, the legends tend to exaggerate the whole, terrifying deity aspect, Naruto said with a tired smile. We were just people, originally. Very, very powerful people. We? Goku asked. Naruto's expression darkened. There were others. Not many, but, enough. He looked at the crater where the nexus had been. And I'm starting to remember why I was sealed away in the first place. Before he could elaborate, a new energy signature pinged against his senses, familiar yet alien. Someone's watching us, he said suddenly, scanning the sky. Vados and Goku followed his gaze but saw nothing. I detect no presence, Vados said. It's masked, Naruto explained. But I'd know that energy anywhere. He raised his voice, calling to the empty air. I know you're there. Might as well show yourself. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the air rippled, and a small tear in reality appeared, just large enough to reveal a pair of pale, pupilless eyes surrounded by veins. Hello, Naruto, a feminine voice echoed from the tear. It's been a while. Kagaya, Naruto acknowledged, his stance shifting subtly to a more defensive position. Not yet, the voice replied. But soon. I see you've found 2 of the nexus points already. How efficient of you. What do you want with them? Naruto demanded. A soft laugh emanated from the tear. The same thing you do. To be whole again. To remember. The eyes narrowed. To finish what we started, all those eons ago. That's not going to happen, Naruto said firmly. The cycle is broken. Creation and destruction found balance without us. Did they? The voice sounded amused. Look around you, Naruto. At this fragmented multiverse. These pale imitations of true cosmic power. They've built a house of cards and called it eternity. The tear began to close. Find the remaining nexus points if you wish. Each one you stabilize only hastens my return. And when all 13 are active. The eyes gleamed with something ancient and terrible. We'll see which of us truly remembers the old ways. The tear sealed itself, leaving no trace it had ever existed. Friend of yours? Goku asked into the sudden silence. Something like that, Naruto said grimly. A very old, something. I take it this complicates matters, Vados observed. You could say that. Naruto ran a hand through his hair. She's after the same nexus points, but for different reasons. I want to stabilize them, make sure they don't tear reality apart. She wants to use them to fully manifest in this reality. And that would be bad because... Goku prompted. Because Kagaya believes this entire version of the multiverse is a mistake, Naruto explained. She'd unmake it all and start fresh. That sounds rather inconvenient for current residents, Vados remarked dryly. Yeah, extinction tends to be. Naruto sighed. We need to find the next nexus point before she influences it. If she corrupts enough of them. He trailed off, his senses suddenly locking onto something. Another pulse of familiar energy, coming from somewhere else on the planet. There's another presence here, he said. Not a nexus, but something else. Something familiar. He focused, trying to pinpoint it. On an island, surrounded by water. Goku's eyes widened. That sounds like Kame House. Where my friends are. We should investigate, Vados suggested. If this presence is connected to your past, it could be significant. Naruto nodded, though his expression was troubled. Agreed. But we need to move quickly. If Kagaya sensed it too. I'll get us there instantly, Goku offered, placing a hand on Naruto's shoulder. Just need physical contact for my instant transmission. Neat trick, Naruto commented, then looked at Vados. Coming with us? I suppose someone must ensure you don't inadvertently destroy this quaint little planet, she replied with a small smile. Goku extended his other hand to Vados, who delicately placed her fingers on his wrist. With his free hand, he pressed 2 fingers to his forehead, concentrating. Got it, he exclaimed. Hang on. The wasteland vanished in a blur, replaced instantly by bright sunshine, blue skies, and the gentle sound of waves. They stood on a small island dominated by a pink house with Kame House written on the side. And on the beach, a blonde woman in jeans and a black shirt was staring at them, her expression shifting from surprise to wariness as she dropped into a fighting stance. Goku, she called. Who are these people? The woman's power level is off the charts, and the guy. She frowned, focusing on Naruto. There's something weird about his energy. Naruto stared back, something clicking into place in his fragmented memories. There was something about this woman, something in her energy signature that resonated with his own in a way that shouldn't be possible in this reality. Android 18. Goku greeted cheerfully. Don't worry, they're friends. Well, new friends. This is Vados, she's an angel like Whis. And this is Naruto. He's Really old and powerful. Thanks for the detailed introduction, Naruto said dryly, but his eyes remained fixed on the woman called Android 18. She met his gaze unflinchingly, and for a moment, something passed between them, a recognition neither could quite place. Have we met before? She asked, voicing the question hanging in the air. Not in this lifetime, Naruto replied softly. But there's something about your energy signature. It almost feels like. Like what? 18 pressed, her stance relaxing slightly but wariness still evident. Naruto took a step forward, then stopped, respecting her space. Like chakra. But that shouldn't be possible. No one in this reality should have chakra except me and the nexus points. Chakra? 18 frowned. I don't know what that is. I'm an enhanced human, an android. Enhanced with what? Naruto asked, genuine curiosity in his voice. Before she could answer, the ground beneath them trembled. The sky darkened suddenly, clouds swirling unnaturally overhead. A feeling of pressure descended on the island, as if reality itself was being compressed. That's not good, Naruto muttered, looking up. She's trying to manifest here. A tear appeared in the sky, similar to the one from the wasteland but larger, expanding with each passing second. Through it, those same pale eyes were visible, but now accompanied by a face of unearthly beauty framed by long white hair. Found you, Kagaya's voice echoed across the island. Her gaze fixed on Android 18 with hungry interest. How fascinating. A fragment exists here already. What is that? 18 demanded, backing up slightly. Trouble, Naruto answered, stepping protectively between her and the tear in reality. He looked at Goku and Vados. Get everyone off this island. Now. But, Goku began. Now. Naruto's voice carried the weight of command, his eyes flashing crimson. This isn't a fight you want to be part of. Vados nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. Come, son Goku. We should heed his warning. Goku hesitated, then nodded. Fine, but we'll be back. He turned to 18. Let's go find Krillin and Marin. I'm not leaving without my family, 18 said firmly. Then get them and go, Naruto urged. This place isn't safe. As if to emphasize his point, the tear widened further, and a slender white hand emerged, reaching toward the island. Too late, Kagaya's voice sang. The fragment calls to me. Naruto's hands flashed through complex movements. Multi-shadow clone jutsu. Dozens of identical copies of Naruto popped into existence around the island, each radiating the same golden energy. Whoa! Goku exclaimed. That's a neat trick. Go, the original Naruto shouted. My clones will buy us time. Goku nodded, racing into the house to find the others while Vados erected a barrier around the building. The Naruto clones formed a perimeter, hands flashing through more complex signs. Sealing technique, cosmic barrier, they shouted in unison. Golden light erupted from their hands, forming a dome of energy that encompassed the entire island, cutting off Kagaya's reaching hand. She hissed in frustration, pulling back as the tear began to shrink. This changes nothing, her voice echoed. The fragment exists. I will find it again. Her eyes locked with Naruto's. And next time, you won't be prepared. The tear sealed shut, the unnatural darkness dissipating. Naruto dispelled his clones, their accumulated chakra flowing back into him. What the hell was that? 18 demanded, standing her ground even as Goku emerged with a short man and a little girl. That was Kagaya, Naruto explained, suddenly looking exhausted. The primordial sage of creation. My counterpart. And apparently, she thinks you're connected to her somehow. Me? Why would some cosmic entity care about me? Naruto studied her, his expression troubled. I don't know. But we need to find out before she comes back. He looked at the small family behind her. And we need to keep all of you safe while we do. Goku stepped forward. They can stay at Capsule Corporation. Bulma's security systems are the best on the planet. Good idea, Naruto nodded. But first. He approached 18 cautiously. May I? I just want to check something. She hesitated, then gave a short nod. Naruto placed his hand gently on her shoulder, sending a small pulse of chakra through her system. His eyes widened. Impossible, he whispered. What? 18 asked, tensing. Your enhancements, Naruto said, removing his hand. They're not just technology. There's something else mixed in, something that resonates with chakra on a fundamental level. He looked troubled. It's almost as if. As if what? The short man, presumably Krillin, asked, stepping protectively closer to his wife. Naruto shook his head. As if someone from my reality somehow influenced her creation. He looked at 18 again. Which should be impossible, unless. Unless what? Vados prompted. Unless the 13th nexus point has been active all along, Naruto said grimly. Creating thin spots between realities. Places where influence could bleed through. He looked up at the sky where Kagaya's tear had been, his expression hardening with resolve. We need to move fast, he said. Find the remaining nexus points, stabilize them before Kagaya can corrupt them. He turned to 18. And figure out why you're connected to all this. I didn't ask to be part of some cosmic showdown, 18 said flatly. None of us did, Naruto replied with a tired smile. But here we are anyway. As they prepared to leave the island, Naruto cast one last look at the sky, a mixture of determination and unease on his face. The game had changed. Kagaya was more active than he'd feared, the nexus points more vulnerable, and now this unexpected connection with the woman called Android 18. The next phase of their journey would be far more dangerous than the first. Chapter 2, The Human Element. Android 18 felt it days before anyone else did. A prickling sensation like static electricity running along her artificial nerve endings, different from any energy she'd ever sensed before. Not ki, something older, wilder. She'd been folding laundry when the first wave hit, making her drop Marin's favorite pajamas mid-fold. What the hell, she muttered, looking around the empty room as if expecting to see something out of place. Krillin noticed her unease at dinner that night. Everything okay, babe? You've been distracted all evening. 18 pushed rice around her plate. You don't feel that? Feel what? That, energy. Like something's pressing against reality. She set down her chopsticks with a frustrated sigh. I've been feeling it all day. Krillin frowned. I don't sense anything unusual. Maybe it's something to do with your, you know. He gestured vaguely at her body, still awkward about directly referencing her cybernetics even after all these years. Maybe. She didn't sound convinced. That night, the sensation grew stronger, waking her from sleep. 18 slipped out of bed, careful not to disturb Krillin, and stepped onto the beach outside Kame House. The moon reflected off the ocean, but something about the light seemed wrong, too golden, too vibrant for simple moonlight. The feeling pulled at her, insistent. West. Something was happening to the west. I'm going to check something out, she told Krillin over breakfast. Probably nothing. Just, a weird energy I want to investigate. Want me to come? No. Stay with Marin. She kissed their daughter's head. I won't be long. 18 flew west, following the strange pulsing energy. It grew stronger with every mile, until she found herself above a dense forest far from any human settlement. And there, in a clearing, she saw it, a golden tree, impossibly tall, pulsing with energy that seemed to bend the air around it. What the hell is this thing? She whispered, landing at the edge of the clearing. The tree's roots sprawled outward for hundreds of feet, glowing with the same golden energy, spreading throughout the forest. Animals moved strangely around it, deer with too many antlers, birds with extra wings. As if the tree was changing everything it touched. 18 approached cautiously. The energy felt familiar somehow, resonating with something deep inside her artificial systems. She reached out toward the nearest root. I wouldn't touch that if I were you. 18 spun around, dropping into a fighting stance. A man with white-blue skin and ornate clothes stood behind her, flanked by 3 warriors in matching armor. Their energy signatures were massive, clearly not human. Who are you? She demanded. Maku, Cosmic Enforcer First Class, the leader said. This anomaly is under Cosmic Council jurisdiction. State your business here, android. 18's eyes narrowed. How do you know what I am? We know everything about this planet. Maku gestured to the golden tree. Including the fact that this chakra nexus shouldn't be interacting with your systems the way it is. Fascinating, really. Chakra nexus. Information restricted to council personnel. Maku motioned to his subordinates. Secure the android for study. Her resonance with the nexus requires investigation. The warriors moved forward, energy barriers forming around their hands. 18 didn't wait. She blasted upward, firing ki blasts to cover her retreat. These guys, whoever they were, had serious power. She needed backup. She flew fast, changing direction frequently to throw off pursuit. When she sensed 2 of them gaining on her, she dropped altitude, weaving through a canyon to force them into closer quarters where her superior speed and agility gave her the advantage. One enforcer appeared directly in her path. 18 didn't slow down, she accelerated, throwing a ki-charged punch that connected squarely with his jaw. The impact sent him crashing into the canyon wall, but barely fazed him. Subject demonstrates exceptional combat capabilities, he said, touching his communicator. Recommend full containment protocol. Recommend you back off, 18 countered, gathering energy between her palms. The second enforcer appeared behind her. Energy disruption field activated. 18 felt her ki fluctuate, power levels dropping as some kind of dampening field surrounded her. She gritted her teeth, fighting against it. These weren't ordinary opponents, they knew exactly how to counter ki-based abilities. But 18 wasn't just a ki user. Dr. Gero's modifications had given her other advantages. She dropped her ki completely, switching to pure physical combat. The sudden change caught the enforcers off guard. 18's roundhouse kick connected with enough force to send the second enforcer flying backward. Combat style adaptation noted, the first said, adjusting his approach. 18 had enough. She needed distance. Using the brief opening, she shot upward, breaking through the dampening field and accelerating to her maximum speed. For several minutes, she flew erratically, sensing no pursuit. She changed course toward Capsule Corp. Bulma would know what to do, or at least have tech that might help identify what that golden tree was. The energy pulsed again, stronger than before. 18 gasped as her systems seemed to resonate with it, her vision briefly overlaying with strange golden patterns. For a moment, she saw the energy flowing around her, not ki, but something else, moving in networks through everything. What's happening to me? She whispered. The sensation faded, but left her shaken. Whatever that tree was doing, it was affecting her differently than a normal person. She needed answers. 18 was so distracted she almost missed the massive energy signature approaching from the east, 2 signatures, actually. One felt similar to Whis, that strange angelic energy that existed outside normal parameters. The other was, something else entirely. Ancient. Powerful. And somehow connected to the golden tree. She changed course to intercept them. You sure this is the right way? Naruto asked, flying beside Vados toward the energy signature he'd sensed. The nexus is approximately 30 kilometers ahead, Vados confirmed. Though it appears someone has reached it before us. After securing Krillin and Marin at Capsule Corp, they detected another nexus point activating across the planet. Goku had stayed behind to explain the situation to his friends and set up defenses in case Kagaya returned. Naruto and Vados had set out immediately, racing against time and whatever agents Kagaya might have already deployed. This one feels different, Naruto noted. More integrated with the environment. Almost like. He frowned. Almost like the Nexus is adapting to this world's energy pattern. Is that unusual? Extremely. Chakra usually overwrites local energy, not adapts to it. Naruto's expression darkened. Unless something, or someone, is guiding it. Kagaya? Maybe. Or maybe something else entirely. He scanned the horizon, then tensed. We've got company. A figure approached rapidly from the west, a familiar blonde woman in a black shirt and jeans. It's the android, Vados observed. How curious that she found the Nexus independently. Not curious, Naruto corrected. Concerning. That connection I sensed earlier, it's drawing her to the Nexus points. They slowed as Android 18 reached them, her expression a mixture of wariness and determination. You too, she said, crossing her arms. I might have known you'd be involved with this weirdness. Good to see you too, Naruto replied with a slight smile. Let me guess, you felt the energy and came to investigate. Something like that. 18's eyes narrowed. There's a giant golden tree back there, and some blue guys calling themselves cosmic enforcers tried to capture me for resonating with it. Want to explain what the hell is going on? Naruto and Vados exchanged glances. The Cosmic Council works fast, Vados noted. They must be monitoring all Nexus activations now. The tree is a chakra nexus, Naruto explained to 18. Part of my original power manifesting in this reality. As for why you resonate with it. He studied her intently. That's what we need to figure out. There's something about your enhancements that interacts with chakra when it shouldn't be possible. Great, 18 said flatly. More weird stuff about my body I never asked for. She sighed. So what now? Those enforcer guys seemed pretty determined. Now we check out the Nexus before either the Council or Kagaya's agents corrupt it, Naruto said. And since you're already involved, you might as well come with us. Assuming I want to get more involved in your cosmic drama. Trust me, you're already involved. Naruto's expression softened. Look, I get not wanting to be pulled into this. But that resonance the enforcers mentioned? It means you're connected whether you like it or not. Better to understand how than get blindsided later. 18 considered this, then nodded reluctantly. Fine. But I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it because whatever this chakra thing is, it's affecting my systems, and I want to know why. Fair enough. Naruto grinned. Race you there? Before 18 could respond, he shot forward, golden energy trailing behind him. Vados sighed elegantly. He can be rather impulsive, she explained. I've noticed, 18 replied dryly, then accelerated after him. The golden tree had grown even larger in 18's absence, now towering hundreds of feet above the forest canopy. Its branches stretched outward in patterns that seemed to follow the invisible currents of energy flowing through the air. The entire clearing pulsed with golden light, and the animals had grown stranger, some now having multiple heads, others developing crystalline growths that glowed with the same golden energy. Incredible, Vados murmured as they landed. The Nexus is integrating with the local ecosystem far more harmoniously than the previous one. Yeah, but that's not necessarily good, Naruto said, approaching the tree cautiously. Chakra shouldn't be this adaptive. Someone's influencing it. The enforcer guys are gone, 18 noted, scanning the area. Think they'll be back. Count on it, Naruto replied. The council doesn't give up easily. He placed a hand on the tree's trunk, closing his eyes. This nexus feels different. Not corrupted exactly, but directed. Like someone's been guiding its development. Kagaya? Vados asked. No. Her influence is more aggressive, more dominating. Naruto frowned. This feels almost nurturing. A soft laugh echoed through the clearing, coming from everywhere and nowhere at once. Always so perceptive, Naruto. The three spun around, searching for the source of the voice. The air shimmered near the base of the tree, and a figure materialized, a woman with pale lavender eyes and dark blue hair that flowed like water around her shoulders. She wore a simple white kimono with moon patterns, and her feet didn't quite touch the ground. Hinata, Naruto breathed, his expression a complex mixture of shock, joy, and wariness. Not quite, the woman smiled sadly. Just an echo, a memory given form by the nexus. But this forest remembers me, even if this reality doesn't. Vados tensed, staff at the ready. Another primordial sage? No, Naruto said softly. Something else. Someone from, before. Before you were sealed? 18 asked. Before I was a primordial sage, Naruto clarified, his eyes never leaving the apparition. When I was just a shinobi from Konoha. The woman, Hinata, approached Naruto, her form rippling slightly like a reflection in water. You remember more than you realize, Naruto-kun. The nexus is awakening those memories too. Is that why this one feels different? You've been guiding it? She nodded. I couldn't let Kagaya corrupt it. Not when it manifested here, of all places. She gestured to the forest around them. This place exists at the intersection of realities, where your old world and this one touch briefly. It's why I could reach through, just a little. I don't understand, 18 interrupted. Who are you supposed to be? His ex-girlfriend or something? Hinata turned to 18, studying her with those strange eyes. In another life, I was his wife. She smiled at 18's startled expression. But that was many cycles of reality ago. Before he became what he is now. Before the great separation. This is very touching, Vados said, but perhaps we should focus on the nexus. If it truly sits at an intersection of realities, it may be particularly vulnerable. She's right, Hinata agreed. I've stabilized it as much as I could, but my influence is limited. The nexus needs to be properly integrated, Naruto. Naruto nodded, stepping toward the tree again. I'll handle it. But first, he turned back to Hinata. How are you here at all? Even a memory shouldn't be able to cross between realities like this. Hinata's form flickered slightly. The boundaries have been thinning for centuries. Small leaks between worlds. It's how. She looked directly at 18, certain influences crossed over. Certain technologies. Certain energies. Are you saying my cybernetics are somehow related to your world? 18 demanded. Not directly. But the principles behind them, the integration of life energy with technological enhancements, those concepts slipped through the cracks between realities. Dr. Gero may have believed the ideas were his own, but he was unconsciously drawing on knowledge from another world. That's why you resonate with chakra, Naruto realized, looking at 18. Your cybernetic systems are accidentally designed to channel it, even though chakra doesn't naturally exist in this reality. Before 18 could process this revelation, the ground shook violently. The golden tree pulsed, branches whipping in sudden agitation. They're coming, Hinata warned, her form growing fainter. Kagaya sensed me. She's sending her agents. The white Zetsu? Naruto asked, tensing. Hinata shook her head. Something new. Something she created specifically for this reality. Her form flickered more severely. I can't maintain this connection much longer. Naruto, you must stabilize the nexus quickly. What about you? There was pain in Naruto's voice, the echo of an ancient attachment. I'll help how I can, from the other side. She smiled sadly. Some bonds transcend even the barriers between realities, Naruto-kun. With those words, her form dissolved into motes of golden light that flowed back into the tree. The clearing fell silent for a moment. Well, Vados said delicately. That was unexpected. Yeah, Naruto ran a hand through his hair, looking suddenly exhausted. Lot of that going around lately. Your wife? 18 asked, surprisingly gentle. In another life, Naruto confirmed. Before I became this. He gestured to himself. Before the cycle changed and reality restructured. The moment of vulnerability passed quickly as another tremor shook the forest. The sky darkened suddenly, clouds swirling unnaturally overhead. We've got incoming, Naruto warned, focusing on the energy patterns. Multiple signatures, powerful. Not Cosmic Council, something else. Kagaya's agents? Vados suggested, scanning the skies. Most likely. Naruto turned to 18. You should leave. This isn't your fight. 18 crossed her arms. Like hell. I'm already involved, remember? Besides, according to your ghost wife, my systems might actually be useful against this chakra stuff. Before Naruto could argue, 5 tiers opened in the sky above them, vertical slits in reality that pulsed with sickly purple light. From each emerged a figure, dropping to the forest floor with inhuman grace. They appeared human at first glance, but closer inspection revealed subtle wrongness, skin too pale and smooth, eyes completely black except for colored irises, movements too fluid to be natural. Each wore armor that seemed to shift between solid and liquid, adorned with symbols similar to the sealing marks on Naruto's crystal prison. Uzumaki, their leader spoke, voice resonating on multiple frequencies. The mother sends her regards. Funny, Naruto replied, dropping into a fighting stance. She never struck me as the sending regards type. More the universal genocide type. The leader smiled, revealing teeth too sharp to be human. She has evolved, as have we. We are the Otsutsuki Vanguard, created specifically to operate in this reality. He gestured to the golden tree. We've come for the nexus. Yeah, that's not happening. Naruto's hands flashed through signs too fast to follow. Shadow Clone Jutsu. A dozen copies of Naruto popped into existence, surrounding the vanguard in a defensive perimeter. The leader seemed unimpressed. Your old tricks won't work against us, Uzumaki. We were designed to counter your abilities. He raised his hand, and purple energy crackled between his fingers. Cosmic style, void collapse. The energy shot outward in expanding rings, passing through Naruto's clones and causing them to distort before popping out of existence. The real Naruto grimaced, feeling the backlash of their destruction. Okay, that's new, he muttered. Vados stepped forward, twirling her staff. Perhaps a more direct approach is required. With blinding speed, she thrust her staff toward the nearest vanguard member, expecting to easily overpower them as she did most opponents. Instead, the vanguard warrior caught the staff with one hand, purple energy flowing up the shaft toward Vados. Angelic energy. Predictable. He yanked hard, pulling Vados off balance before striking with his other hand. Vados barely avoided the blow, disengaging with a look of genuine surprise. Their power, it specifically counteracts divine energy. Kagaya's been planning this for a long time, Naruto realized. Creating warriors specifically designed to fight in this reality, against its natural power systems. The 5 vanguard members spread out, surrounding them. The leader focused on Naruto, 2 others engaged Vados, and the remaining 2 approached 18 with calculating expressions. The hybrid, one said, studying 18. Unexpected variable. Potential asset. I'm nobody's asset, 18 snapped, dropping into her fighting stance. The vanguard warrior lunged, moving faster than a normal human could track. But 18 wasn't normal. Her enhanced perception tracked every movement, her cybernetic systems calculating trajectories and optimal responses. She met the attack head-on, blocking the initial strike and countering with a key-charged punch that connected solidly with the warrior's chest. To her surprise, the key energy didn't dissipate on impact as expected. Instead, it seemed to interact with the warrior's purple energy, creating a golden-purple reaction that sent shockwaves through the clearing. The warrior stumbled back, looking down at the golden energy now crackling across his armor. Interesting. The hybrid's energy converts to chakra upon contact. The second warrior attacked from behind, hands forming strange signs. Cosmic style, neural disruption. 18 felt her cybernetic systems falter, errors flooding her internal processing. She dropped to one knee, fighting to maintain control of her body. Your technology-based abilities are vulnerable to chakra disruption, the warrior explained clinically. Unfortunate for you. Through the haze of system errors, 18 remembered what Hinata had said, her cybernetics were accidentally designed to channel chakra. If that was true, then maybe. She stopped fighting the foreign energy and instead tried to direct it, the way she would her ki. To her surprise, the golden patterns she'd glimpsed earlier reappeared in her vision, showing energy pathways throughout her body. What are you doing? The warrior demanded, sensing the change. 18 smiled grimly. Adapting. She grabbed the warrior's wrist, and instead of pushing the chakra away, she pulled it in, redirecting it through her systems. Golden-purple energy surged through her body, her cybernetics processing and refining it into something new. 18 felt power unlike anything she'd experienced before, raw, primal, yet perfectly integrated with her artificial systems. She rose to her feet, golden energy now crackling visibly across her skin. My turn. 18 moved with new speed, her enhanced strength now amplified by the chakra flowing through her systems. Her punch connected with the warrior's face, shattering his mask and sending him crashing through several trees. The second warrior backed up, reassessing. Anomaly detected. Subject is absorbing and converting chakra. Yeah, I'm full of surprises, 18 replied, the golden energy forming crackling gauntlets around her hands. She glanced over at Naruto, who was locked in intense combat with the vanguard leader, both of them moving almost too fast to track. Vados was handling her two opponents with greater success now, having adapted to their energy countering abilities by switching to purely physical attacks, her staff a blur of motion as she methodically dismantled their defenses. The warrior facing 18 changed tactics, drawing a weapon that resembled a short staff. It extended suddenly, becoming a spear that crackled with purple energy. Cosmic style, severing edge, he intoned, swinging the weapon in an arc that literally cut through the fabric of space, leaving a visible tear that leaked purple energy. 18 dodged, but the tear expanded, trying to pull her in. She fought against the gravitational force, channeling her new chakra energy into a focused blast that disrupted the tear's stability. The warrior pressed his advantage, attacking with the spear again, forcing 18 on the defensive. Each swing cut new tears in reality around them, making movement increasingly difficult. A little help here. 18 called, narrowly avoiding being sliced in half. Across the clearing, Naruto was having his own problems. The vanguard leader proved exceptionally skilled, countering Naruto's techniques with disturbing precision. The mother knows all your moves, Uzumaki, the leader taunted, forming purple chakra chains that mirrored Naruto's golden ones. She created you, after all. She really loves rewriting history, Naruto grunted, breaking free of the chains. We were contemporaries, not creator and creation. The truth matters little now. The leader's hands formed complex signs. Cosmic style, reality anchor. The air around Naruto solidified, purple energy forming a cage that contracted rapidly. Naruto countered with his own technique, golden energy pushing outward against the cage. Could use some backup. 18 called again, now cornered against the golden tree, the warrior's reality cutting spear inches from her throat. Naruto's eyes flashed to her, taking in the situation. Despite his own predicament, he formed a one-handed sign. Wind style, great breakthrough. A massive gust of wind exploded from him, powerful enough to disrupt the leader's cage and knock the warrior threatening 18 off balance. In the brief opening, 18 grabbed the spear's shaft, channeling chakra through it. The weapon sparked, then shattered in her hands. "Thanks," she called, pressing her advantage against the now disarmed warrior. Vados, meanwhile, had neutralized one of her opponents and was steadily wearing down the second. With elegant precision, she swept her staff in an arc that caught the warrior's legs, followed by a thrust to the chest that sent him flying into a tree with enough force to splinter the trunk. "These creatures are persistent," she observed, smoothing her robes. But ultimately outmatched. The vanguard leader, seeing his team faltering, changed tactics. Enough games. Cosmic style, nexus corruption. He slammed both palms into the ground. Purple energy shot from his hands, racing across the forest floor toward the golden tree. Where it touched, plants withered and died, the ground turning ashen gray. No. Naruto broke away from combat, racing toward the tree. He's trying to corrupt the nexus. The purple energy reached the tree first, beginning to climb up the trunk. Golden light pulsed in resistance, creating a spectacular clash of energies. "We need to stop him," Naruto shouted to the others. "If he corrupts the nexus, it'll create a reality implosion." 18 knocked her opponent unconscious with a chakra-enhanced strike, then turned toward the leader. "How do we stop it?" "The tree," Naruto called, reaching the trunk. "Touch the tree. Channel your energy into it." Vados dispatched her remaining opponent with a precise strike, then joined Naruto at the tree. 18 followed, pressing her hands against the golden bark. "Focus your energy," Naruto instructed. "Not against the corruption, into the tree itself. Strengthen it from within." 18 closed her eyes, concentrating on the strange new chakra flowing through her systems. She visualized it flowing into the tree, merging with the golden energy already there. The vanguard leader intensified his attack, purple corruption climbing higher up the trunk. "It's too late, Uzumaki. The mother's influence is absolute." "Not here it isn't," Naruto countered, his body beginning to glow. 6 golden arms materialized behind him, each forming different signs. "This nexus has protection you know nothing about." As if in response to his words, the tree pulsed brightly, and a faint outline appeared, Hinata's form, ephemeral but present, her hands pressed against the trunk opposite them. Golden light flowed from her into the tree, reinforcing their efforts. "Impossible," the leader hissed. "A remnant from the previous cycle cannot manifest here." "Some bonds transcend reality," Naruto replied, his voice resonating with power. The golden energy intensified, pushing back against the purple corruption. 18 felt something strange happening as they connected through the tree, a resonance between her chakra and Naruto's, their energies synchronizing in a way that felt surprisingly natural. Vados's divine energy added a third harmony, the 3 powers merging into something greater than their individual contributions. The tree responded, golden light exploding outward in a blinding flash. The purple corruption receded, then dissipated entirely. The vanguard leader staggered back, his connection broken. "Now!" Naruto shouted, hands flashing through signs. Golden Sage Art, Purification Wave. A tsunami of golden energy erupted from the tree, washing over the clearing. Where it touched the vanguard warriors, their bodies convulsed, purple energy being forcibly extracted and neutralized. The leader fought against it, forming protective barriers of purple chakra, but the combined power of Naruto, 18, and Vados, amplified by the nexus itself, proved overwhelming. His barriers shattered, and he fell to his knees as the golden wave washed over him. When the light faded, all 5 vanguard warriors lay unconscious, their armor cracked and fading from solid to smoke. "Did we win?" 18 asked, breathing heavily. The golden energy still crackled around her hands, but it was fading gradually as her systems returned to normal. For now, Naruto confirmed, the extra arms dissipating as he returned to his normal appearance. But they'll be back. Or something worse will. Vados examined the fallen warriors with clinical interest. These beings are quite remarkable. Neither fully of this reality nor entirely foreign to it. A perfect infiltration force. Kagaya's getting better at creating pawns, Naruto agreed grimly. He approached the leader, kneeling beside the unconscious form. This one we keep. He'll have information we need. And the others? 18 asked. They'll return to Kagaya when they regain consciousness. Their physical forms are tethered to her dimension. As if on cue, the 4 subordinate warriors began to fade, their bodies turning translucent before disappearing entirely. Only the leader remained solid, apparently prevented from returning by Naruto's influence. We should stabilize the nexus before more company arrives, Naruto said, returning to the tree. The Cosmic Council won't be far behind. How do we do that? 18 asked. Same as before. I absorb and integrate it. Naruto placed both hands on the trunk. But this time, I'll need help. This nexus is different, more complex, more integrated with the local reality. Our assistance is required. Vados asked, raising an elegant eyebrow. Your divine energy helps bridge the gap between my chakra and this reality's natural energy. Naruto looked at 18. And you provide the human element, a connection to this world that neither Vados nor I have. 18 crossed her arms. You want me to, what, hold hands and sing Kumbaya with the tree? Naruto smiled despite the situation. Something like that. Just place your hands on the trunk and focus your energy like before. The tree will do the rest. The 3 positioned themselves around the massive trunk, each placing their palms against the golden bark. 18 felt that resonance again, the strange harmony between their different energy types. Ready? Naruto asked. They nodded. Then let's do this. Naruto closed his eyes, and golden energy flowed from his hands into the tree. The entire forest seemed to hold its breath as the process began. Unlike the violent absorption of the previous nexus, this one was more controlled, more deliberate. The golden tree didn't collapse or explode, instead, it gradually transformed, its energy flowing not just into Naruto but through him, refined and stabilized before returning to the forest. 18 felt her role in the process, her energy provided a template, a pattern for how chakra could exist harmoniously within this reality. Vados' divine power created boundaries, cosmic laws that contained and structured the wild nature of raw chakra. As the process continued, 18 glimpsed images, memories not her own. A village hidden among massive trees. Children running with metal headbands. A massive fox with 9 tails. A pale woman with alien eyes floating above a battlefield. And through it all, a young man with blonde hair and whisker marks, growing, changing, becoming something more than human. The images faded as the process completed. The golden tree remained, but transformed, now appearing as a normal tree, though larger and more vibrant than its neighbors. The golden energy had been internalized, flowing through the forest in subtle currents that enhanced rather than dominated the natural ecosystem. Naruto removed his hands from the trunk, looking simultaneously exhausted and exhilarated. It worked. The nexus is stabilized. The forest. 18 looked around in wonder. It still changed. But harmoniously now, Vados observed. The chakra has been integrated rather than imposed upon the environment. Exactly, Naruto nodded. This world now has its first natural chakra network, small, contained within this forest, but sustainable. Is that safe? 18 asked skeptically. Safer than leaving an unstable nexus. Naruto stretched, joints popping. Besides, this forest will serve as a barrier now, a stable zone that will make it harder for Kagaya to force her way into this reality. He looked at 18 with newfound respect. You were amazing, by the way. Most people take years to learn how to channel chakra effectively. You did it in minutes. 18 shrugged, though she couldn't entirely hide her satisfaction. Adaptive systems. It's what I do. Indeed, Vados agreed. Your cybernetic enhancements provide a unique bridge between technological and biological energy systems. Most intriguing. Their captive groaned, beginning to regain consciousness. Naruto moved quickly, placing a hand on the vanguard leader's forehead. Golden seals spread across the warrior's skin, restraining his abilities. Let's see what information we can extract before the council shows up, Naruto said, his expression hardening. The warrior's eyes opened, completely black with purple irises. He took in his situation with a single glance, then smiled eerily. Restraints are unnecessary, Uzumaki. I will tell you what you wish to know. Why would you do that? 18 asked suspiciously. Because it changes nothing. The warrior's voice remained unnaturally calm. The mother's plan progresses regardless of your awareness of it. Then you won't mind filling us in, Naruto replied. Starting with how Kagaya is able to create beings like you that operate in this reality. The borders between realities have been thinning for millennia, the warrior explained. Small tears, minor intrusions. The mother has been patient, inserting her influence gradually, laying groundwork. For what purpose? Vados asked. Reunification. The warrior's eyes fixed on Naruto. The multiverse was never meant to be fragmented, divided into isolated universes. The mother seeks to restore the original state, a single, unified reality under her guidance. By destroying everything that currently exists, Naruto added grimly. A necessary transition. Current reality structures are fundamentally unstable, built on flawed foundations laid by lesser beings after the primordial sages departed. And my connection to all this? 18 demanded. Why does my body resonate with chakra? The warrior smiled again, the expression never reaching his eyes. You are an accident. One of many small anomalies created by reality bleeding through its borders. He tilted his head, studying her. But the mother sees potential in you now. A useful tool, perhaps. I'm nobody's tool, 18 snapped. Everyone is someone's tool, hybrid. The only question is whose purpose you serve. Naruto interrupted before 18 could respond. What's Kagaya's next move? Where will she target? The nexus points activate in sequence, following cosmic ley lines established at reality's foundation. The next will manifest at what this world calls the sacred land of Kurin. The warrior's smile widened fractionally. But you already have a larger problem approaching. As if on cue, the sky darkened again, not with the purple energy of Kagaya's dimension, but with a more structured, organized force. 6 identical tiers opened in perfect hexagonal formation. The Cosmic Council has escalated their response, Vados observed calmly. From the central tear emerged a figure unlike the previous council agents, taller, more regal, wearing ornate armor that seemed woven from pure cosmic energy. His face was obscured by a mask showing a galaxy in motion, stars swirling across its surface. Cosmic Judge Antaeus, the captive warrior identified, satisfaction in his voice. The mother calculated a 67% probability of his deployment against you. Naruto Uzumaki, the judge's voice boomed across the forest, resonating on multiple frequencies. By authority of the Cosmic Council, you are hereby declared a Class Alpha reality threat. Surrender for containment or face immediate neutralization. Smaller figures emerged from the other tiers, dozens of cosmic enforcers, their armor more elaborate than the ones 18 had encountered earlier. This day just keeps getting better, 18 muttered. We can't fight both the council and Kagaya's forces simultaneously, Naruto said quietly. We need to retreat, regroup. Agreed, Vados said. Though I find their presumption of authority rather irritating. The captive warrior chuckled softly. Run if you wish. It changes nothing. The wheels are in motion. Naruto looked down at their prisoner, then made a quick decision. He placed his palm on the warrior's forehead again, golden energy pulsing. The warrior's eyes widened in genuine surprise. Memory extraction, Naruto explained grimly. Not pleasant, but necessary. The warrior convulsed as golden energy flowed from him into Naruto. When it finished, he slumped unconscious again. Did you get what we need? 18 asked. Enough, Naruto confirmed, looking troubled by whatever he'd seen. The sacred land of Kurin is just the beginning. Kagaya's ultimate target is something called the central cosmic nexus, the foundational power point that maintains reality itself. Most concerning, Vados said. We should inform the Grand Priest immediately. First we need to get out of here, Naruto said as the judge and his enforcers descended toward the forest. Vados, can you create a distraction? She nodded, twirling her staff. With pleasure. The tip of her staff glowed briefly before a massive burst of divine energy shot skyward, creating a spectacular light show that temporarily blinded the approaching council forces. Now, Naruto said, grabbing 18's wrist with one hand and touching Vados' staff with the other. Hold tight. Golden energy enveloped them, and the forest blurred around them. Unlike Goku's instant transmission, this technique didn't teleport them instantly. Instead, they moved at incredible speed, reality smearing into streaks of color around them. Seconds later, they stood on a small island, Kame House, 18 realized. Why here? She asked, steadying herself after the disorienting journey. It's shielded, Naruto explained, looking exhausted from the technique. This island exists in a partial reality bubble after our last encounter with Kagaya. The Cosmic Council will have trouble tracking us here. What about Krillin and Marin? 18 demanded. They're at Capsule Corporation. They're safe, Naruto assured her. The Council isn't interested in humans, only in containing what they see as reality threats. He swayed slightly on his feet. Vados caught his arm, supporting him with surprising gentleness. The nexus absorption has drained you significantly. Yeah. Naruto grimaced. This one was different. More, resistant. You need to rest, 18 said, practical as always. Inside. Both of you. They entered the small pink house, 18 leading them to the living room. Naruto collapsed onto the couch, while Vados perched elegantly on an armchair. I should contact Krillin, 18 said, reaching for her phone. Use this instead, Naruto handed her a small seal tag. Normal communications might be monitored now. This will create a secure connection. 18 raised an eyebrow but took the tag. How does it work? Just focus your energy into it while thinking of who you want to reach. 18 tried it, surprised when the paper glowed golden and Krillin's voice emerged clearly. 18. Is that you? Where are you? I'm at Kame House with Naruto and Vados, she explained. Things got complicated. How are you and Marin? We're fine. Bulma's got us in some kind of special shielded room. Goku's here too, he says to tell Naruto that more of those Cosmic Council guys showed up asking questions. Tell him we know, Naruto called from the couch. And to stay put. We'll regroup soon. After finishing the conversation, 18 set the seal tag aside and looked at her unlikely companions. Naruto was clearly exhausted, his normally vibrant energy subdued. Even Vados looked slightly less composed than usual. So what's the plan? 18 asked. We can't hide forever. We don't need forever, Naruto replied, sitting up with effort. Just long enough to recover and prepare for the next Nexus manifestation. He looked at her curiously. The real question is, are you still in? Would it matter if I said no? 18 crossed her arms. According to your prisoner, I'm already involved whether I like it or not. My body resonates with this chakra stuff. That doesn't mean you have to fight, Naruto pointed out. You could lay low, stay out of it. And what, let Kagaya reshape reality while I hide? Not my style. 18 gave him a level look. Besides, I felt what happened when we stabilized that nexus. The three of us together, it worked better than any of us alone would have. A most astute observation, Vados agreed. Our combined energies created a harmonic resonance that significantly enhanced the stabilization process. Naruto studied 18 with newfound respect. You're something else, you know that. Most people would be running for the hills after what you've seen today. I'm not most people. 18 shrugged. Never have been. No, Naruto smiled slightly. You're definitely not. Something passed between them in that moment, not romantic exactly, but a recognition, an understanding between two beings who existed outside normal categories. Vados observed the interaction with quiet interest, her own expression unreadable. So, 18 said, breaking the moment, the sacred land of Kurin. That's where the next nexus will appear. Naruto nodded. According to what I extracted from our prisoner, yes. It's already forming, but won't fully manifest for approximately 12 hours. Which gives us time to rest and prepare, Vados noted. Most fortunate. What about Kurin and Yajirobe? 18 asked. They live there. They could be in danger. We'll need to evacuate them, Naruto agreed. But carefully. The Cosmic Council is likely monitoring all significant power signatures now. I'll handle it, 18 decided. They know me, and I can approach without setting off as many alarms as either of you. Are you sure? Naruto asked. It's risky. I'll be fine. My power level isn't cosmic tier like yours. She stood. I should go soon, though. Better to move them before anything starts happening. Wait until nightfall, Naruto suggested. Less chance of being spotted. He reached into his pocket and produced another seal tag. Take this. If there's trouble, channel energy into it and I'll know. 18 took the tag, surprised by the gesture of concern. Thanks. As darkness fell, they finalized the plan. 18 would evacuate Kurin and Yajirobe, bringing them to Capsule Corp where Bulma's shielding technology would offer some protection. Meanwhile, Naruto would rest and recover his strength, while Vados monitored cosmic energy patterns for any sign of Kagaya's next move or council activity. Be careful out there, Naruto said as 18 prepared to leave. If you sense anything unusual, anything at all, use the tag immediately. I got it, 18 assured him. I'm not exactly defenseless, you know. I know. Naruto's expression was serious. But neither were the others who stood against Kagaya in the past. The gravity of his words wasn't lost on 18, but she maintained her composed exterior. I'll be back before morning. She looked between Naruto and Vados. Try not to destroy my house while I'm gone. With that, she took off into the night sky, flying low over the ocean to minimize her energy signature. As Kame House receded into the distance behind her, 18 reflected on how quickly her life had changed. 2 days ago, her biggest concern had been what to make for dinner. Now she was flying stealth missions to evacuate talking cats from cosmic entities. Life was definitely getting interesting. At Kame House, Naruto watched 18 disappear into the darkness, a troubled expression on his face. You're concerned for her, Vados observed. I'm concerned for everyone involved in this mess, Naruto replied, turning back to face the angel. The stakes keep getting higher. Indeed. Vados studied him with unreadable eyes. What did you truly see when you extracted memories from the Vanguard warrior? You appeared, disturbed. Naruto sighed, dropping his casual demeanor. I saw Kagaya's endgame. She's not just trying to reshape reality, she's trying to collapse the barriers between all realities, all timelines, all possible worlds. He looked out the window at the night sky. She wants to return everything to primordial chaos, then rebuild it in her image. A rather ambitious remodeling project, Vados remarked. That's putting it mildly. Naruto ran a hand through his hair. The central cosmic nexus is the key. It's the foundational power point that maintains the separation between realities. If she corrupts it, all would return to the void. Vados finished, her usual light-hearted tone absent. Even the divine hierarchy would be affected. Even Zeno, Naruto confirmed grimly. Which is why the Cosmic Council is panicking. They know something's coming, even if they don't understand exactly what. They fell silent for a moment, the weight of revelation settling between them. You knew her, Vados said finally. Before. The real Kagaya, not just the monster she became. Naruto looked surprised at the insight. Yes, he admitted. We were counterparts. Creation and destruction in balance. Before the fracturing. What happened? Naruto's eyes grew distant, seeing across eons. We disagreed about the nature of reality. I believed in allowing it to evolve naturally, embracing chaos and growth and change, even when that meant suffering and setbacks. She believed in perfect order, perfect harmony, perfect control. He shook his head. The conflict tore reality apart. The multiverse as it exists now is the result of that ancient war. And you were sealed away, Vados prompted. Not just sealed, fractured. My power, my very essence, split into 13 nexus points and scattered across realities. Naruto looked down at his hands. What you see now is just a fragment of what I was. As each nexus is stabilized, I become more complete, remember more. Which explains your growing power, Vados noted. And your increasing access to memories. Exactly. Naruto looked troubled. But the same is happening with Kagaya. Each nexus I stabilize creates a harmonic resonance that strengthens her connection to this reality too. A most troubling paradox, Vados mused. You must stabilize the nexus points to prevent reality fractures, yet doing so hastens your enemy's return. Story of my existence, Naruto said with a wry smile. Caught between impossible choices. Vados regarded him thoughtfully. There is another element you haven't addressed. The human woman. 18. Her connection to chakra should be impossible, yet it exists. Vados leaned forward slightly. I suspect there is more to this accident than random chance. Naruto nodded slowly. I've been thinking the same thing. Her resonance with chakra is too perfect, too natural. Almost as if she were designed for it, Vados finished. But who would know how? Who in this reality would understand chakra well enough to accidentally build it into cybernetic enhancements? Naruto's brow furrowed in concentration. Before they could pursue this line of thought further, both tensed, sensing a new energy signature approaching the island, powerful but carefully controlled, trying to remain undetected. We have company, Naruto said, rising to his feet despite his exhaustion. Not council, not Kagaya's forces. Something else. Vados rose gracefully, staff at the ready. Shall we greet our visitor? They stepped outside onto the beach, facing the direction of the approaching energy. Within moments, a figure appeared at the edge of the island, tall, green-skinned, wearing a white cape and turban. Piccolo, Vados identified. The Namekian warrior who trains with Son Goku. Piccolo landed, his cape billowing around him. His expression was serious as he assessed them. I felt the energy spikes, he said without preamble. Something major is happening, and Goku's being unusually tight-lipped about it. Smart of him, Naruto replied. The less people involved, the better. That approach rarely works, Piccolo countered. Whatever's going on is affecting the entire planet. The energy signatures I've been sensing don't match anything I've encountered before. They wouldn't, Naruto said. They're not from this reality. Piccolo's eyes narrowed. Explain. Naruto exchanged glances with Vados, who gave a slight nod. Despite his exhaustion, Naruto sensed that Piccolo could be a valuable ally. His energy signature was different from other beings on this planet, more adaptable, more resilient. It's a long story, Naruto warned. Piccolo crossed his arms. I've got time. And so Naruto explained, about the primordial sages, the nexus points, Kagaya's plan to reshape reality, and the Cosmic Council's efforts to contain what they saw as an existential threat. He kept the explanation focused, omitting the personal details he'd shared with Vados. Piccolo listened without interruption, his expression growing more grave as the explanation continued. So these nexus points are fragments of your power manifesting in our reality, he summarized when Naruto finished. And this Kagaya wants to use them to break down the barriers between realities. That's the simplified version, yes, Naruto confirmed. And you believe the next manifestation will occur at Kurin's tower? That's what the intelligence suggests. 18's gone to evacuate them now. Piccolo frowned. Why involve the android? She has a unique connection to chakra, Naruto explained. Her cybernetic systems can channel it naturally, which shouldn't be possible in this reality. Jiro's work was always unusual, Piccolo acknowledged. But this suggests outside influence. Exactly what we were discussing before you arrived, Vados said. Piccolo considered for a moment. I want to help. If reality itself is at stake, sitting on the sidelines isn't an option. It'll be dangerous, Naruto warned. Beyond anything you've faced before. Piccolo smiled grimly. I've died before. It's overrated. Naruto couldn't help but laugh at that. Fair enough. We could use another strong fighter, especially one native to this reality. Then it's settled. Piccolo removed his weighted cape and turban, setting them aside. I'll start by reinforcing the barrier around this island. If it's a blind spot to these Cosmic Council people, we should strengthen that advantage. As Piccolo set to work, Naruto returned inside to continue recovering his strength, leaving Vados to monitor their new ally. Despite the growing dangers, he felt a spark of hope. Their team was growing, resources increasing. But so were the stakes. The next nexus would be more powerful, more volatile than the previous ones. And Kagaya was getting closer to manifesting fully in this reality with each passing hour. The real battle was just beginning. 18 approached Kurin's tower cautiously, flying at high altitude before dropping straight down to minimize her energy trail. The sacred land of Kurin was eerily quiet, the forests and mountains below bathed in moonlight. As she neared the top of the impossibly tall structure, she felt it, a faint pulse of golden energy, still embryonic but growing stronger by the minute. The nexus was forming exactly as predicted. She landed on the platform, finding Kurin waiting for her, his feline face uncharacteristically serious. Figured someone would show up sooner or later, the cat said, leaning on his staff. Something weird's happening to my tower. That's why I'm here, 18 confirmed. We need to evacuate. You and Yajiro both. Humph, figured as much. Kurin looked up at her shrewdly. Your energy feels different. Something changed in you, 18. She blinked, surprised by his perception. It's complicated. I'll explain once we're somewhere safer. No need to explain to me, Kurin waved a paw dismissively. I've been around long enough to know when cosmic stuff is brewing. This tower's been here for millennia, seen all sorts of weird business. Yajirobe emerged from inside, carrying a bag stuffed with what appeared to be food supplies. I heard we're leaving, he said around a mouthful of something. About time. The whole tower's been vibrating all day. Gives me indigestion. Great. You're packed. Let's go, 18 said, eager to complete the mission and return to Kame House. Not so fast, Kurin interrupted. There's something you should see first. He gestured for her to follow him inside. 18 hesitated, alert for any sign of danger, but followed the cat into the central chamber of the tower. What she saw made her stop short. The center of the room was occupied by a small golden sapling, no more than 3 feet tall, but pulsing with the now familiar energy of a chakra nexus. Unlike the wild, chaotic energy of the previous manifestations, this one seemed contained, deliberately cultivated. What is this? 18 demanded. The nexus isn't supposed to fully manifest for hours. It started growing 3 days ago, Kurin explained, circling the sapling. At first I thought it was just a weird plant. Then it started giving off energy. Powerful stuff, but not hostile. He looked up at 18. It's been waiting for someone. Waiting? 18 approached cautiously. For who? Don't know. But every time someone comes up the tower, it reacts differently. With you. Kurin nodded at the sapling, which had begun pulsing more rapidly as 18 neared it. Well, see for yourself. As 18 took another step closer, the sapling's golden glow intensified. Small branches extended toward her, as if reaching out. Okay, that's weird, Yajirobe commented from the doorway. 18 stopped, torn between investigation and caution. The seal tag Naruto had given her felt warm in her pocket, a warning? Or something else? Against her better judgment, she reached out toward the nearest branch. The moment her fingers made contact, golden energy flowed into her, not invasive or painful, but connecting, resonating with the chakra already in her system. A voice whispered in her mind, feminine, familiar yet unknown, the sequence is corrupted. The path is changed. Find the hidden nexus before she does. 18 pulled back with a gasp. We need to go. Now. She turned to Kurin and Yajirobe. And we need to take that thing with us. Take it? Yajirobe protested. Are you crazy? It's clearly some kind of alien plant thing. It's a chakra nexus, 18 explained, or part of one. And if we leave it here, something very bad will find it. She looked at Kurin. Can it be moved? The cat stroked his whiskers thoughtfully. Probably. It's not physically connected to the tower, more like it chose this location. He studied 18 with ancient eyes. But the real question is, why did it respond to you specifically? That's what I'd like to know, a new voice interjected. All three turned to see a figure floating outside the tower entrance, humanoid but clearly not human, with pale blue skin and silver hair pulled into a high ponytail. He wore ornate robes and carried an elaborate staff topped with a floating ring. A Kai, Kurin identified, his fur bristling slightly. Supreme Kai of Time, actually, the figure corrected, floating inside. Kranoa, at your service. Despite the friendly introduction, her expression was deadly serious. And you three are interfering with a temporal nexus point that falls under my jurisdiction. 18 positioned herself between the newcomer and the golden sapling. This is a chakra nexus, not a temporal one. Kranoa smiled thinly. It's both, actually. Which makes this situation even more dangerous than your primordial friend realizes. She studied 18 with unsettling intensity. How fascinating. You've been marked by multiple temporal signatures. No wonder the nexus responded to you. What are you talking about? 18 demanded. Your timeline, my dear android, has been altered repeatedly. Cell games, tournament of power, various cosmic interventions. Kranoa circled 18, examining her from all angles. Each event left temporal residue in your cybernetic systems. You're practically a walking time distortion. Is that why I can channel chakra? 18 asked, momentarily forgetting her defensive posture. Partly. The temporal fluctuations created microscopic reality breaches in your systems. When chakra entered this dimension, it found a perfect conduit in you. Kranoa gestured to the sapling. Which is why this nexus reached out to you specifically. Look, I don't care about temporal whatever, 18 said, refocusing. I was sent to evacuate Kurin and Yajiro before the nexus fully manifests. If you have jurisdiction, great, you handle it. Klonoa shook her head. It's not that simple. This particular nexus exists across multiple time streams simultaneously. Moving it could create a cascading temporal fracture. She looked genuinely concerned. Where is Naruto now? I need to speak with him directly. 18 hesitated, unsure whether to trust this self-proclaimed supreme Kai of time. How do you know Naruto? We've never met in this timeline, Klonoa admitted. But when you've been managing time as long as I have, you recognize patterns. Primordial sages leave very distinctive temporal signatures, especially when they start waking up and reclaiming power fragments. Before 18 could decide how to respond, the golden sapling pulsed brightly. All its branches extended outward, creating a dome of golden energy that enclosed everyone in the room. It's accelerating, Klonoa said, suddenly alarmed. Something's forcing premature manifestation. Outside the tower, the sky darkened unnaturally, purple lightning crackling between swirling clouds. The entire structure began to vibrate. She's found it, 18 realized, pulling out Naruto's seal tag. She channeled energy into it immediately, sending an emergency signal. Too late, Klonoa warned. We need to stabilize it now, or this entire temporal junction will collapse. The Supreme Kai of Time raised her staff, channeling divine energy into the sapling. Android. Your chakra, channel it into the nexus. Try to counter the corruption. 18 didn't waste time questioning. She placed her hands on the sapling, focusing the golden energy within her systems as she had during the forest nexus stabilization. Kurin, sensing the gravity of the situation, added his own ancient key, placing his paws on the small trunk. What do I do? Yajirobe asked, clearly terrified but unwilling to be useless. Ground us, Kurin instructed. Put your hands on my shoulders. Your connection to earth energy will help anchor the process. The unlikely quartet formed a circle around the sapling, each contributing their unique energy. For a moment, it seemed to be working, the golden glow intensified, pushing back against the purple corruption attempting to infiltrate from outside. Then reality itself seemed to tear open above the tower. A massive eye appeared in the sky, pale, pupilless, ringed with veins. Too late, a feminine voice echoed across dimensions. This nexus is mine. Purple tendrils shot down from the eye, piercing the tower's golden dome. Where they touched the sapling, corruption spread, golden light turning sickly purple. No! Klonoa shouted, increasing her divine output. Temporal lock initiating. Time itself seemed to slow around them, the corruption advancing more gradually. But it continued advancing nonetheless. It's not enough, 18 gritted out, fighting to maintain her connection as purple energy attempted to invade her systems. We need more power. As if in answer, a flash of golden light exploded outside the tower. Naruto appeared, but not as 18 had seen him before. His form was transformed, 6 arms extended from his back, each forming different signs. A crown of golden horns adorned his head, and his eyes blazed with inner light. Kagaya, his voice thundered, shaking the very air. Enough. He thrust all 6 hands forward, golden chains erupting from his palms and wrapping around the massive eye. The eye narrowed in pain or anger, the purple tendrils withdrawing slightly. The Sage of 6 Paths, Kagaya's voice hissed. Always interfering. Always too late. Naruto ignored her, shooting toward the tower at incredible speed. He passed through the golden dome as if it weren't there, landing beside the corrupted sapling. Klonoa, he acknowledged the Supreme Kai of Time with a nod. Been a while. Different timeline, she replied tersely. Focus now, reunion later. Naruto placed his hands alongside 18's on the sapling. Everyone hold on. This is going to get rough. Golden energy exploded from him, flowing through the sapling and connecting all 5 beings in a circuit of power. 18 gasped as her perception expanded, suddenly able to see the temporal currents Klonoa had mentioned, the way they intersected with chakra flows, creating a complex multidimensional pattern. The corruption's too deep, Klonoa warned. We can't save it completely. We don't need to, Naruto replied. We just need to split it. Klonoa, prepare a temporal partition. The Supreme Kai nodded, adjusting her staff. Divine time energy formed a bubble around half of the sapling. 18, Naruto called, his voice strained. Focus on filtering the chakra through your systems. Your unique resonance can purify it. 18 did as instructed, visualizing the golden energy flowing through her cybernetic pathways, being cleansed of purple corruption before returning to the sapling. Kurin and Yajirobe maintained their positions, anchoring the process with earth energy. With a sound like reality tearing, the sapling split perfectly down the middle. One half remained golden, protected within Klonoa's temporal bubble. The other turned completely purple, pulsing with Kagaya's corrupt energy. The massive eye above them widened in surprise, then narrowed in fury. Impossible. Division over destruction, Naruto called up to the eye. Still the lesson you refuse to learn, Kagaya. The purple half of the sapling dissolved into energy that shot upward into the eye. The golden half stabilized within the temporal bubble, its glow steady and pure. This changes nothing, Kagaya's voice resonated across dimensions. The sequence is altered but not broken. The central nexus will be mine. The eye began to close, reality stitching itself back together. Before it disappeared completely, Kagaya's final words echoed ominously, ask your new friend about the 13th nexus, Naruto. Ask her what the time Kai has been hiding from both of us. The eye vanished, the unnatural darkness receding. Dawn light began filtering through the tower windows, as if the cosmic confrontation had somehow accelerated time itself. What did she mean? Naruto asked, turning to Klonoa as his form gradually returned to normal. The Supreme Kai of Time sighed, looking suddenly exhausted. It's complicated. Uncomplicated, 18 insisted, her tone leaving no room for evasion. What's the deal with the 13th nexus? Klonoa looked between them, then nodded reluctantly. The 13th nexus isn't just a PowerPoint like the others. It's a person. A physical incarnation of the final fragment, born into this reality rather than manifesting as pure energy. A person? Naruto repeated incredulously. That's not possible. The nexus points are pure chakra, they can't take human form. Not naturally, no. Klonoa looked directly at 18. But with sufficient temporal manipulation, with exactly the right technological integration, with precisely the right genetic foundation. 18 felt cold realization wash over her. No. You can't be saying. It's not you, Klonoa clarified quickly. But it is connected to you. Who then? Naruto demanded. Klonoa hesitated, then spoke the words that would change everything. The 13th nexus is your daughter, Android 18. Marin carries the final fragment within her DNA, a perfect fusion of chakra potential and human evolution. The golden half of the sapling pulsed in confirmation, as if responding to the truth finally being spoken aloud. And somewhere across realities, Kagaya smiled. Chapter 3, Gods and Monsters. 18 moved like a storm. One moment she stood frozen in Kurin's tower processing Klonoa's words, the next she'd grabbed the time Kai by her robes. What did you just say about my daughter? 18, wait, Naruto started. No. 18's eyes blazed. She drops this bomb about Marin being some cosmic PowerPoint and you expect me to wait? Klonoa didn't resist the android's grip. Your daughter isn't in immediate danger. That's precisely why she's been hidden in plain sight. Hidden? 18 tightened her grip. By who? For how long? Start talking or I start breaking things. Perhaps this conversation requires a more secure location, a new voice interjected. All eyes turned to see Vados standing in the doorway, staff in hand, expression unusually serious. The situation has escalated, she continued. Cosmic Council forces are converging on Earth in unprecedented numbers. Lord Kampa has been officially notified of my independent activities. And a message just arrived from the Grand Priest requesting our immediate presence in the sacred world of the Kais. Perfect timing, Kronoa said, gently removing 18's hands from her robes. We need to speak with the other Kais anyway. 18 didn't budge. I'm not going anywhere except to my daughter. Marin is already there, Vados informed her. Goku transported your husband and daughter to the sacred world at the Supreme Kai's request. They are being protected by Beerus himself. Beerus? Naruto raised an eyebrow. The god of destruction is personally guarding a little girl. Even gods recognize cosmic necessities, Vados replied cryptically. We should depart immediately. 18 hesitated, torn between demanding answers on the spot and getting to Marin as quickly as possible. Let's go, Naruto said gently, placing a hand on her shoulder. We'll get answers and keep Marin safe. I promise. The sincerity in his voice decided her. 18 nodded sharply. Kurin, Yajirobe, Kronoa addressed the cat and his companion. The tower will need guardians while we're gone. Leave it to us, Kurin assured her. This old cat has protected sacred sites before. Yajirobe looked less enthusiastic but nodded grudgingly. The sapling, Naruto remembered, looking at the golden half still glowing in its temporal bubble. We can't leave it vulnerable. I'll handle that, Kronoa raised her staff, and the sapling vanished. Temporal displacement. It exists outside normal time flow now until we can properly integrate it. Naruto nodded, satisfied. Lead the way, Vados. The angel tapped her staff on the floor, and reality shifted around them. The sacred world of the Kais hummed with tension. As their group materialized on the lush green landscape, 18 immediately spotted Krillin holding Marin near a crystal-clear lake. The little girl waved excitedly upon seeing her mother. Mommy! 18 rushed to her daughter, scooping her into a protective embrace. She examined Marin carefully, searching for any sign of change or harm, but the child appeared exactly as always, blonde pigtails, bright eyes, innocent smile. How could this small, perfect human possibly be a cosmic nexus point? She's fine, Krillin assured her, though his expression betrayed deep worry. Nobody's told us much, just that she needs protection. She does, 18 confirmed grimly. And when this is over, we're having a serious talk about cosmic entities using our daughter as a power battery. Before Krillin could respond, the ground trembled slightly as Beerus approached, ears twitching with irritation. The god of destruction wore his usual attire but his expression was unusually serious. So the gang's all here, he drawled, eyeing Naruto with particular interest. Including the supposed primordial entity that predates even me. Naruto met the destroyer's gaze evenly. Beerus. You've gotten skinnier since I last saw you. Impossible. We've never met. Not in this cycle, Naruto agreed with a small smile. But I remember a younger, considerably rounder destroyer who couldn't get enough of something called dinosaur tail pudding. Beerus's eyes widened fractionally. That's not in any records. Because there were no records back then. Just stories passed down by the first gods of destruction. Their staring contest was interrupted by the arrival of more figures, the Supreme Kai of Universe 7, followed by several lesser Kais, then Goku, Vegeta, and finally Whis, who joined his sister Vados with a concerned look. Quite the gathering, Whis remarked. It's been millennia since this many divine beings assembled without a tournament or cosmic catastrophe. We're facing both, actually, Kronoa said, stepping forward. A tournament between primordial forces and definitely a cosmic catastrophe if we fail. The Supreme Kai cleared his throat. Perhaps we should adjourn to the meeting hall. Many eyes are watching the fabric of reality now, and we should minimize our exposed presence. They followed him to an ancient circular building nestled between rolling hills. Inside, a massive round table dominated the space, surrounded by ornate chairs. Everyone found seats, with Marin settling comfortably on 18th's lap, oblivious to her sudden cosmic importance. "This is boring," Beerus complained as the last of them sat down. "Can we skip to the part where someone explains why I've been assigned babysitting duty for a human child?" "That human child," Kronoa explained, "is the physical incarnation of the 13th chakra nexus point, the final fragment of the primordial sage's power." "Which shouldn't be possible," Naruto added, leaning forward. "Nexus points are pure chakra, not living beings. So I'd really like to know how my power ended up inside a little girl." All eyes turned to Kronoa, who sighed deeply. "It's a long story that spans multiple timelines and reality iterations," she began. "The short version, when the primordial sages were sealed and their powers fragmented, 12 of the 13 fragments followed predictable patterns, manifesting as energy nexuses across the multiverse." "And the 13th? Vados prompted. "The 13th fragment was different, more adaptive, more conscious, somehow. It refused manifestation, instead moving through reality like a current, searching for the right vessel." Kronoa glanced at Marin, who was happily drawing on a paper the Supreme Kai had provided. For countless cycles, it remained dormant, waiting. Then, approximately 8 years ago in this timeline, it found what it was looking for. "My daughter," 18 said flatly. "Why her specifically?" "Because of you," Kronoa answered. "Your unique cybernetic composition, combined with Krillin's latent spiritual potential, created the perfect genetic foundation." The fragment recognized the opportunity and integrated itself during Marin's conception. Krillin paled. "Are you saying some cosmic power tampered with our—" "Let's not complete that sentence in front of the kid," Naruto interjected quickly. "But the question stands. Why didn't anyone notice this happening?" "We did," Kronoa admitted. "The Department of Temporal Investigation flagged the anomaly immediately. When we realized what had happened, we made a decision." "You hid it," Beerus guessed, suddenly interested. "From everyone, including the Cosmic Council." "Yes. We created subtle temporal shields around the child, nothing that would raise alarms, just enough to mask the Nexus energy signature." Kronoa looked apologetic. "It was the only way to protect her. If the Cosmic Council had discovered a living Nexus point, they would have taken her for study," 18 finished, arms tightening protectively around Marin. "Probably locked in some cosmic lab forever." "And if Kagaya had found her first?" Naruto asked quietly. Kronoa's expression darkened. "She would have extracted the fragment immediately, likely killing the child in the process." The room fell silent, the gravity of the situation settling heavily on everyone present. "So what changed?" Vados finally asked. "Why reveal this now when secrecy has protected her thus far?" "Because the other nexus points are activating," Kronoa explained. "As each one stabilizes, it resonates with the others, including the 13th. The temporal shields we created are failing. It's only a matter of time before both the Council and Kagaya locate her." Naruto ran a hand through his hair, frustration evident. "So we're damned either way. If we don't stabilize the remaining nexus points, reality fractures. If we do, we lead Kagaya straight to Marin. There must be a third option," Goku spoke up for the first time. "What if we moved Marin somewhere off-world? Maybe another universe?" "It won't work," Kronoa shook her head. "The fragment is connected to all 12 others. Distance means nothing." "Then we fight," Vegeta stated matter-of-factly. "We gather our strongest warriors and prepare for battle. When this Kagaya comes for the child, she'll face the full might of Universe 7. "I appreciate the sentiment," Naruto said, "but you haven't seen what Kagaya is capable of. She doesn't just destroy bodies, she unmakes reality itself." Then what do you propose? The Supreme Kai asked. Naruto fell silent, thinking. After a moment, he looked at Marin, who was now showing her drawing to Beerus. The destroyer god was making a visible effort to appear interested. We need to stabilize the final conventional nexus points quickly, Naruto decided. That will restore enough of my original power to potentially match Kagaya. He turned to Klonoa. And we need to understand exactly how the fragment manifests in Marin. Is it something that can be extracted safely? Absolutely not, 18 cut in sharply. Nobody's extracting anything from my daughter. I'm not suggesting we harm her, Naruto clarified. But if we understood the connection better, we might find a way to protect both Marin and the fragment. Klonoa nodded thoughtfully. There are methods we could use to analyze the connection non-invasively. The oracle fish might help, it exists partially outside conventional reality. Ugh, that annoying fish, Beerus groaned. Always speaking in riddles and prophecies. How many conventional nexus points remain unstabilized? Vados asked. 2, Naruto answered. One in what you call Universe 11, another in Universe 4. He frowned. But something's wrong with the sequence. Normally they would activate in a specific order, but Kagaya's interference has corrupted the pattern. The central cosmic nexus, Klonoa said gravely. It's the master control point, the nexus that connects all others. Kagaya is trying to access it directly, bypassing the conventional sequence. And where exactly is this central nexus located? Whis inquired. Between realities, Klonoa replied. At the precise point where all 12 universes intersect. It's what you might call the cosmic heartbeat of existence itself. Xenosama's realm, the Supreme Kai gasped. Adjacent to it, Klonoa corrected. The central nexus predates even the Omni King's authority. It's what made his existence possible in the first place. The implications silenced everyone momentarily. Even Beerus looked genuinely disturbed. So our enemy seeks to control a power that predates Zeno himself, Whis summarized. Most concerning. We need to split up, Naruto decided. One team stabilizes the Universe 11 nexus, another handles Universe 4. A third team stays here to protect Marin and study the 13th fragment. Once the conventional nexuses are secured, we can focus on defending the central nexus from Kagaya. I'll take Universe 11, Goku volunteered immediately. Jiren and the Pride Troopers could help us there. Vegeta scoffed. Fine. I'll handle Universe 4. Their warriors are weak, but their deception techniques could be useful against these Cosmic Council interferers. I'm staying with my daughter, 18 stated firmly. I'll accompany Vegeta, Vados offered. My knowledge of Universe 4 will prove valuable, and my brother can assist son Goku in Universe 11. That leaves me to coordinate our defense here, Naruto concluded. With 18, Krillin, and whoever else we can trust. Marin looked up from her drawing. Is this about me? Am I special? The adults exchanged uncomfortable glances. Krillin knelt beside his daughter. You've always been special, sweetie, he said gently. We're just making sure everyone knows to be extra nice to you. Marin seemed satisfied with this explanation and returned to her artwork. 18 caught a glimpse of the drawing, a golden tree with 13 branches, each bearing a different colored fruit. The coincidence was unsettling. As the groups prepared to depart for their assignments, a new presence appeared at the entrance to the meeting hall. Tall, slender, with pale green skin and white hair, wearing the distinctive attire of a Kai. Zamasu, the Supreme Kai acknowledged stiffly. This meeting was not open to apprentice Kais. My apologies, Supreme Kai, Zamasu bowed with exaggerated deference. I was simply concerned when I sensed so many powerful beings gathering. His eyes lingered on Naruto with particular interest. Especially one whose power feels so primordial. Something about the Kai's gaze made Naruto uneasy. We're handling a cosmic situation. Nothing for apprentices to worry about. Of course, Zamasu smiled thinly. Though if I might observe, merely for my education, you understand. Opportunities to witness beings of your caliber addressing cosmic threats are rare. Absolutely not, the Supreme Kai began, but Gawasu, the elderly Supreme Kai of Universe 10, interrupted. Perhaps we should allow it, he suggested mildly. Zamasu has been studying ancient cosmic conflicts. This could be educational for him. I don't like it, 18 muttered to Naruto. Something about him feels off. Agreed, Naruto whispered back. But keep your friends close and potential enemies closer. We can watch him here better than wondering what he's doing elsewhere. The matter settled uncomfortably, the teams prepared for departure. As Goku and Whis gathered their group for Universe 11, Naruto pulled the Scion aside. Be careful, he warned. The Nexus in Universe 11 will likely be heavily guarded, both by Kagaya's forces and possibly the Cosmic Council. Don't worry, Goku grinned confidently. I've been itching for a good fight anyway. Naruto smiled despite himself. You remind me of someone I used to be. Just remember, these enemies don't play by normal rules. Their attacks can affect reality itself. Got it. Reality warping bad guys. Nothing we haven't handled before. As Goku joined Whis, Naruto turned to find Vados waiting to speak with him before departing with Vegeta. I sense you're concerned, she observed quietly. We're splitting our forces, Naruto replied. It's tactically risky. Yet necessary, she pointed out. The Nexus points must be stabilized. I know. He hesitated. Be careful, okay? Universe 4 specializes in illusions and deception. Kagaya excels at exploiting those techniques. Vados tilted her head slightly. Your concern is, noted. Her usual detached tone softened almost imperceptibly. I am quite capable of handling myself, Naruto. I know you are. Just come back in one piece. A ghost of a smile touched her lips. I shall endeavor to maintain my structural integrity. As the groups departed, Goku and Whis' team vanishing in a flash of light, Vegeta and Vados' following moments later, Naruto turned to those remaining. 18 and Krillin stood protectively near Marin, while Beerus lounged nearby, feigning disinterest but clearly alert. Kranoa conversed quietly with the Supreme Kai, while Zamasu hovered at the edges, watching everything with calculating eyes. So, Naruto addressed the remaining group, let's figure out how to protect the most important nexus of all. He glanced at Marin, who had finished her drawing and was now showing it proudly to everyone. The golden tree with 13 multicolored fruits seemed to shimmer on the page, almost as if alive. Universe 11's nexus manifested in the heart of a metropolitan area, a sprawling city that served as headquarters for the Pride Troopers. By the time Goku and Whis arrived with their team, consisting of Piccolo, Gohan, and the Supreme Kai, chaos had already erupted. Buildings floated untethered from gravity. Citizens ran in panic as reality itself wavered like heat mirages. And at the center of it all, a massive crystalline structure had erupted from the ground, pulsing with golden light. Whoa, Goku breathed, taking in the scene from their vantage point above the city. That's even bigger than the other nexus points Naruto described. Indeed, Whis agreed. This one appears particularly potent. Perhaps because Universe 11 has one of the highest mortal levels, providing abundant life energy for the nexus to draw upon. A sudden explosion drew their attention to a battle already in progress. Jiren and Toppo, Universe 11's strongest warriors, were engaged with what appeared to be Kagaya's vanguard forces, the same pale, not quite human warriors that had attacked at the forest nexus. Looks like we're late to the party, Piccolo observed, removing his weighted cape. Pride troopers are already engaging. And losing, Gohan added grimly, noting how even Jiren seemed to be struggling against the strange purple energy the vanguard wielded. Let's help them out, Goku suggested, immediately flaring into Super Saiyan Blue. Piccolo, Gohan, take the ones on the west side. Supreme Kai, can you help evacuate civilians? Of course, the Kai agreed, immediately teleporting to street level. And me? Whis inquired with a raised eyebrow. Can you analyze the nexus? Goku asked. Figure out how we're supposed to stabilize it without Naruto here. I shall attempt it, though primordial chakra is somewhat outside my usual expertise, Whis replied, already moving toward the crystalline structure. Goku nodded and then shot toward the battle, Piccolo and Gohan close behind. As they approached, Jiren noticed their arrival, his stoic face showing a flash of surprise. Son Goku, he acknowledged as they landed beside him. This is not your universe's affair. Actually, it is, Goku replied, eyeing the vanguard warriors surrounding them. These guys are after something that affects all universes. We're here to help. Before Jiren could respond, one of the vanguard attacked, a female warrior with 4 arms and pulsing purple veins visible beneath her pale skin. More interference, she hissed, voice resonating unnaturally. The mother will be displeased. The mother can take a number, Piccolo retorted, firing a special beam cannon that the warrior barely dodged. The battle escalated quickly, Goku finding himself back-to-back with Jiren against 3 vanguard warriors. Despite their previous rivalry, the 2 strongest fighters from their respective universes fell into surprisingly easy synchronization. These enemies, Jiren noted between powerful blows, they fight differently than any I've encountered. Their energy disrupts my own. Yeah, it's called chakra, Goku explained, unleashing a flurry of punches that sent one warrior crashing through a building. It's like ki but older, more primal. Nearby, Gohan and Toppo coordinated their attacks against another group of vanguard warriors. Gohan's precise, scholarly approach complemented Toppo's justice-oriented power moves, creating openings neither could have achieved alone. Piccolo, meanwhile, had engaged the apparent leader, a taller vanguard warrior with a crown-like growth on his head. Despite the Namekian's tactical brilliance, he found himself gradually pushed back by the warrior's reality-warping attacks. Cosmic style, dimensional shear, the leader intoned, slashing his hand through the air. Reality itself split where he gestured, the tear pulling at Piccolo like a vacuum. The Namekian anchored himself with extended arms, wrapping them around a nearby structure. Some help here, he called. Gohan immediately broke off from his fight, flying to his mentor's aid. Masenkoje. The powerful beam struck the vanguard leader, disrupting his concentration and sealing the reality tear. As the battle raged, Whis hovered near the crystalline nexus, staff glowing as he analyzed its structure. The crystal had grown larger since their arrival, now towering over the tallest buildings. Within its translucent surface, patterns swirled and shifted, images of ancient battles, primordial landscapes, and at its heart, a pulsing golden light that seemed almost sentient. Fascinating, Whis murmured. The nexus contains memory imprints, fragments of the primordial sage's experiences. It's not just power, it's consciousness. A shadow fell across him, and Whis turned to find a new figure hovering nearby, neither vanguard nor pride trooper. This being wore elaborate cosmic armor with a mask displaying an eclipse. Behind him floated 6 more similarly attired figures. Step away from the nexus, Angel, the leader commanded. The Cosmic Council claims jurisdiction over all primordial anomalies. Ah, you must be the cosmic judges Naruto mentioned, Whis replied pleasantly, not moving from his position. I'm afraid I can't comply with your request. This nexus requires proper stabilization, not containment. Containment is the only safe option, the judge countered. These nexus points are fracturing reality across multiple universes. They must be sealed and removed. Removed to where, precisely? Whis inquired, genuinely curious. The null dimension. Beyond the jurisdiction of gods or angels. Whis's expression hardened slightly. I believe that would be unwise. These nexus points are fragments of a primordial entity who predates even the current cosmic hierarchy. Removing them could destabilize existence itself. That is the council's determination to make, not yours, the judge replied coldly. Last warning, Angel. Step aside or be declared in violation of cosmic law. Before Whis could respond, a massive explosion rocked the battlefield. Goku and Jiren had combined their powers against the vanguard forces, creating a shockwave that temporarily cleared the area around them. Taking advantage of the momentary reprieve, Goku instant transmitted to Whis' position. How's it going with the? He stopped short, noticing the cosmic judges. Who are these guys? The Cosmic Council representatives, Whis explained. They wish to remove the nexus to another dimension. Yeah, that's not happening, Goku stated flatly. Naruto needs these nexus points stabilized, not stolen. The judge turned his masked face toward Goku. The mortal speaks as if he has authority in cosmic matters. I've got enough authority to stop you if you try anything, Goku replied, dropping into a fighting stance. Whis, how do we stabilize this thing without Naruto? Whis considered the crystalline structure. Based on my analysis and what Naruto has shared, the nexus requires an energy signature that resonates with primordial chakra. Since none of us possess that naturally. He paused, a realization dawning. Perhaps we could use divine energy as a substitute, not to absorb the nexus, but to harmonize it with this reality. Meaning, Goku, that we need to create a divine energy matrix around the nexus, tuned to match its frequency. Whis glanced at the cosmic judges. Which would be considerably easier without interference. The lead judge raised his hand, cosmic energy gathering around it. This discussion is over. The nexus comes with us. No, it doesn't, came a new voice. All turned to see Jiren hovering nearby, arms crossed, eyes locked on the cosmic judges. This is happening in my universe, Jiren stated simply. If Son Goku says the nexus stays, then it stays. The judge laughed coldly. Your power is impressive for a mortal, but meaningless against cosmic authority. Then perhaps my power will suffice, Whis suggested, his usually cheerful demeanor replaced by something ancient and dangerous. As attendant to Lord Beerus, God of destruction for Universe 7, I must insist that the natural cosmic order be maintained. These nexus points are part of that order. The standoff intensified, divine energy crackling between Whis and the judges. The crystal nexus pulsed in response, its golden light intensifying. Look! Gohan called, pointing to the nexus. Something's happening. Within the crystal, the golden light had concentrated, forming a humanoid shape, a glowing silhouette that resembled Naruto in his six-armed form. A manifestation of the primordial sage's consciousness, Whis realized. The nexus is responding to the conflict. The silhouette raised its arms, and golden energy poured outward, creating a dome that encompassed the nexus, Whis, Goku, Jiren, and the cosmic judges. Inside this dome, time seemed to slow, reality stabilizing despite the chaos outside. What is this? The lead judge demanded. An audience, the silhouette replied, its voice an echo of Naruto's yet somehow older, deeper. The nexus recognizes worthy vessels and unworthy interference. The figure turned to Goku and Jiren. You too, your energies resonate with purpose. With protection. With the will to safeguard what matters. It gestured toward the judges. While these seek only control, only power for its own sake. We seek to maintain cosmic stability, the judge protested. You seek to maintain your own authority, the silhouette corrected. The Cosmic Council arose after the primordial sages departed, appointing themselves arbiters of a power they never understood. The figure extended a hand toward Goku and Jiren. Will you accept the responsibility of stabilizing this nexus? Of integrating its power harmoniously with your universe? Goku looked at Jiren. The stoic warrior nodded once. We will, Goku answered. Tell us what to do. Both of you, place your hands upon the crystal, the silhouette instructed. Your combined energies, Jiren's absolute strength and Goku's limitless potential, create a perfect resonance matrix. As the two warriors approached the crystal, the cosmic judges moved to interfere. Whis stepped between them, staff glowing ominously. "I wouldn't," he advised quietly. Inside the golden dome, Goku and Jiren placed their palms against the crystal surface. Immediately, energy flowed between them and the nexus, not leaving them, not entering them, but creating a circuit, a harmony of powers. "The nexus doesn't need to be absorbed or removed," the silhouette explained as the process continued. "It needs to be harmonized, integrated with the natural energy flows of this universe." The crystal began to shrink, not disappearing but condensing, becoming denser, more stable. The wild reality fluctuations outside the dome gradually subsided. Buildings settled back to their foundations, gravity normalized, and the chaotic energy dissipated. "It's working," Gohan observed from outside the dome. "Reality is stabilizing." The process continued until the massive crystal had condensed to a perfect sphere about 1 meter in diameter, hovering between Goku and Jiren. The golden light within pulsed rhythmically, like a heartbeat. "The Universe 11 Nexus is stabilized," the silhouette announced. "It will remain here, guarded by the Pride Troopers, a source of balance rather than chaos." "What about the power Naruto was supposed to reclaim?" Goku asked, removing his hand from the now stable sphere. "A portion returns to him automatically through the connection between nexus points," the figure explained. "The rest remains here, strengthening this universe against what is to come." The silhouette turned toward the cosmic judges. "Your services are not required here. Return to your council and deliver this message: the primordial sages are awakening. The old balances are returning. Your era of unchecked authority is ending." With those words, the golden dome dissolved, the silhouette fading back into the sphere. The lead judge stared at the stabilized nexus, his masked face unreadable. "This isn't over," he stated finally. "The council will not recognize this outcome." "Doesn't seem like they have a choice," Piccolo commented, landing beside Gohan. "The nexus is stabilized. No more reality fractures. Isn't that what you claim to want?" The judge made no reply. With a gesture, he and his companions vanished, tearing holes in reality that sealed themselves immediately. "Well," Whis said cheerfully, "that was most illuminating. Is it really stabilized?" Tokpo asked, approaching the sphere cautiously. "Yes," Jiren confirmed, studying the golden energy inside. "I can feel it. The chaos has become order." Goku stretched, powering down from Super Saiyan Blue. "One down, one to go. I wonder how Vegeta's team is doing in Universe 4. We should inform Naruto of our success," the Supreme Kai suggested, joining them after completing the civilian evacuation. "And of what the Nexus manifestation told us," Whis added thoughtfully. "The message about the old balances returning seems particularly significant." As they prepared to depart, Jiren placed a hand on Goku's shoulder, a rare physical contact from the stoic warrior. "Son Goku," he said simply. "Thank you for your assistance. Universe 11 stands ready if you require aid against these primordial threats." Goku grinned. "Thanks, Jiren. Something tells me we'll need all the help we can get before this is over." Universe 4 proved considerably more challenging. Unlike the metropolitan setting of Universe 11, this nexus manifested in a realm of perpetual twilight, a shadowy dimension where reality itself seemed fluid and uncertain. "This place gives me the creeps," Vegeta grumbled as their group navigated through the strange environment. "Everything feels wrong." Universe 4 specializes in deception and illusion, Vados explained, her staff providing the only reliable light in the shifting darkness. "This realm particularly so. It exists in the space between perception and reality." Their team, consisting of Vegeta, Vados, Bu, who had volunteered enthusiastically at the mention of adventure, and Quitella, the god of destruction from Universe 4 itself, moved cautiously through the twilight landscape. Terrain shifted unpredictably, solid ground became liquid without warning, then vapor, then solid again. Distances couldn't be trusted, what appeared close might be miles away, what seemed distant might be at their fingertips. How are we supposed to find anything in this place? Vegeta demanded after another landscape shift left them disoriented. Quitella, a small mouse-like deity with a perpetual grin, chuckled. That's the beauty of my universe, Scion. Nothing is as it seems, and everything is exactly where you don't think to look. That's not helpful, Vegeta snapped. Beerus confused, the pink creature complained, poking at ground that rippled like water beneath his finger. Which way we go? Vados raised her staff higher, its glow intensifying. The Nexus energy signature is, everywhere and nowhere. Most peculiar. It's responding to the realm's inherent nature, Quitella explained, suddenly serious. In Universe 4, power adapts to perception. If we cannot perceive the Nexus clearly, it's because our understanding is flawed. Speak plainly, Mouse, Vegeta growled. He means we need to change how we're looking for it, Vados interpreted. Not with energy sensing, but with something else. Beerus have idea. The pink being suddenly looked excited. Beerus good at finding things. Beerus close eyes, feel with heart. Before anyone could respond, Beerus sat cross-legged on the rippling ground, closed his eyes, and placed his hands over his chest. His usual childlike expression transformed into one of surprising concentration. Is he meditating? Vegeta asked incredulously. Shoo, Vados hushed him. I believe Majin Beerus may be onto something. His unique composition makes him sensitive to reality fluctuations. They watched as Beerus remained motionless for several minutes, only the antenna on his head occasionally twitching. Finally, his eyes snapped open. Beerus found it, he declared triumphantly. Not there. He pointed to the right. Not there. He pointed left. Not there. He pointed up. Down there. He stomped on the ground beneath them. The Nexus is below us? Vegeta questioned. No, not below, Beerus shook his head. Inside. Inside everywhere. Nexus is the place. Vados's eyes widened with sudden understanding. Of course. In a realm built on illusion and perception, the Nexus wouldn't manifest as a discrete object. It would become integrated with the realm itself. The entire dimension is the Nexus? Vegeta asked incredulously. Precisely, Quitella confirmed, his grin widening. Which means stabilizing it requires stabilizing the entire realm. And how exactly do we do that? Vegeta demanded. Before anyone could answer, the twilight around them darkened further. Shadows solidified, taking humanoid forms, dozens of them, surrounding the group in a tightening circle. Kagaya's vanguard, Vados identified. Though different from those we encountered previously. These have adapted to Universe 4's unique properties. Indeed, these vanguard warriors seemed partially merged with the shadows themselves, their forms flowing and reshaping like liquid darkness. Their eyes glowed purple, the only solid feature in their fluid bodies. The mother greets you, they spoke in perfect unison, voices echoing from everywhere at once. Your journey ends here. I think not, Vegeta replied, immediately transforming into Super Saiyan Blue. The burst of divine energy temporarily pushed back the encroaching shadows, creating a circle of clarity around them. Interesting, one shadow figure detached from the others, more defined than its companions. Divine energy provides temporary stability in this realm. Most useful information. The figure raised its hand, and the entire dimension shuddered. Reality rippled outward from the gesture, and suddenly the ground beneath them dissolved entirely. The group found themselves falling, or perhaps floating, through an endless twilight void. What's happening? Vegeta shouted, finding no surface to push against, nothing to orient himself with. The vanguard is manipulating the Nexus directly, Vados called back, her voice strangely distorted. They're destabilizing the entire realm to prevent us from harmonizing it. You know like this. The pink being tumbled through the void, his body stretching and contracting in response to the reality fluctuations. Only Quitella seemed untroubled, his small form perfectly still amidst the chaos. "This is my universe," he stated calmly. "Its nature answers to me." The mouse deity closed his eyes, his body glowing with the distinctive energy of a god of destruction. But instead of the usual violent, explosive power, Quitella's energy flowed outward in intricate patterns, interacting with the void around them. Gradually, a new landscape formed, a massive chessboard extending in all directions, with their group positioned in the center. The shadow warriors materialized on black squares, while Vegeta, Vados, Beerus, and Quitella found themselves on white squares. "Much better," Quitella grinned. "If we must battle for control of the nexus, let's do it on terms I understand. Universe 4 has always appreciated games." The lead shadow figure inclined its head. "A clever adjustment, Destroyer. But the game is already in our favor." It gestured around them, where additional shadow warriors were materializing on other black squares, quickly outnumbering them. "Quality over quantity," Vegeta retorted, powering up further. "Vados, what's the plan for stabilizing this place? Since the entire realm is the nexus, we need to establish a harmonic resonance pattern throughout," she replied. "Similar to what Naruto did with the forest nexus, but on a dimensional scale." "And how do we do that while fighting these shadow freaks?" Vegeta demanded. "We divide our efforts," Vados decided. "You and Majin Buu engage the vanguard forces. Lord Quitella and I will work on stabilizing the realm. Buu smash shadows." The pink being cracked his knuckles enthusiastically. The battle erupted across the cosmic chessboard, Vegeta and Buu launching themselves at the shadow warriors while Vados and Quitella moved to the center, standing back to back. Vegeta found these vanguard warriors significantly different from those they'd faced on Earth. These shadows fought not with direct force but with reality manipulation, changing the properties of space around him, altering gravity, even temporarily phasing his limbs through solid matter. "Fight fair, you cowards!" he roared after a shadow warrior caused his punch to pass harmlessly through its form. "The mother does not recognize fairness as a cosmic constant," the warrior replied, its body splitting into 3 identical copies that attacked from different angles. Nearby, Buu was having more success. His malleable form proved naturally resistant to the shadow warrior's reality manipulations. When they tried to phase his attacks, Buu simply adjusted his density. When they altered gravity, his body adapted instantly. "Shadows can't hurt Buu," he laughed, stretching his arms to impossible lengths to capture multiple warriors at once. "Buu is everywhere too." In the center of the chessboard, Vados and Quitella had begun their work. The angel staff glowed with divine light while the destroyer channeled his energy through the board itself. Together, they created a resonance pattern, a complex matrix of divine energy that spread outward, square by square. "The realm is responding," Vados observed as golden light began to pulse beneath the chessboard's surface. "The nexus recognizes harmonizing influences." "Of course it does," Quitella replied, his usually mischievous expression replaced by intense concentration. "My universe has always understood balance through opposition. Black and white. Shadow and light. Deception and truth." The lead shadow warrior noticed what they were attempting. "Stop them," it commanded, and a wave of shadow forces converged on the center. "They're coming for you," Vegeta warned, blasting his way through opponents to intercept the new threat. "We require approximately 3 more minutes to complete the harmonic pattern," Vados calculated. "Can you provide that time?" "Watch me," Vegeta smirked, then shouted to Buu. "Pink blob. Defensive formation around the center. Buu protect friends." The Majin immediately expanded his body, forming a dome around Vados and Quitella that the shadow warriors struggled to penetrate. Vegeta took position at the front of the dome, unleashing a barrage of energy attacks that scattered the approaching forces. 3 minutes. I could do this for 3 hours. Inside the protective bubble, the stabilization process accelerated. Golden light pulsed more strongly beneath the chessboard, spreading to both black and white squares equally. The entire realm seemed to throb in rhythm with their efforts. Almost there, Quitella murmured. The nexus is responding beautifully. The shadow warriors grew increasingly desperate, their attacks more frantic. Some began to merge together, forming larger, more powerful entities that crashed against Buu's protective dome with enough force to make the Majin grimace. "Hurry up in there," Vegeta called, taking a hit that sent him skidding across several squares. "They're getting stronger." "Just a few more seconds," Vados replied, her staff now glowing blindingly bright. The lead shadow warrior, seeing defeat approaching, made a final, desperate move. It plunged directly into the chessboard itself, merging with the nexus energy below. "No!" Quitella shouted. "It's trying to corrupt the stabilization pattern from within." The chessboard shuddered violently, squares changing from black to white and back again rapidly. Cracks appeared in the surface, leaking purple energy that clashed with the golden light. "What now?" Vegeta demanded, blasting away shadow warriors that continued to press their attack. "We need a catalyst," Vados realized. "Something to purify the corruption and complete the harmonization." "Like what?" Quitella asked frantically, trying to maintain the resonance pattern as it unraveled around them. Vados looked at Buu, still stretched into a protective dome around them. "Majin Buu's unique composition, he exists partially outside normal reality constraints. He could serve as the perfect conduit. Buu, help." The pink being's face appeared in the dome above them, looking eager despite the strain of maintaining his extended form. "Yes, but it will require merging temporarily with the nexus energy," Vados explained quickly. "Can you extend yourself into the chessboard while maintaining the protective barrier?" "Buu can do anything," he declared confidently, and immediately tendrils of his pink substance began seeping through the chessboard squares, following the golden light pathways. The moment Buu's essence made contact with the nexus energy, a remarkable transformation occurred. The pink tendrils turned golden, spreading rapidly through the entire pattern. Where they encountered purple corruption, they didn't fight it directly, instead, they absorbed it, purified it, and integrated it back into the harmonic matrix. "Incredible," Quitella breathed. "The Majin is naturalizing the corruption." "Buu feel funny," the pink being's voice echoed strangely. "Buu remember things. Old things. Before Buu was Buu. The nexus contains primordial memories," Vados explained. "You're accessing them through the connection." Outside the dome, Vegeta noticed the shadow warriors beginning to dissolve, not destroyed, but reintegrated into the stabilizing realm. The chaotic twilight dimension was transforming, becoming a structured space of harmonious dualities, light and shadow in perfect balance. "It's working," he called. Indeed, the entire chessboard now pulsed with steady golden light. The cracks sealed themselves, and the violent fluctuations ceased. Even the lead shadow warrior, merged with the board itself, was being gradually purified, its purple energy transmuting to gold. "No," the warrior's voice echoed as its consciousness was absorbed. "The mother will," its protest cut off abruptly as the final piece of corruption was purified. A wave of golden energy exploded outward from the center of the chessboard, washing over the entire realm. Where it passed, stability followed. Buu retracted his tendrils from the chessboard, returning to his normal form. "Buu did good." "Buu did excellent," Vados confirmed, genuine appreciation in her voice. "The nexus is stabilized." The chessboard beneath them solidified, becoming a permanent feature of the realm. At its center, a small golden sphere emerged, similar to the one that had formed in Universe 11, but with intricate black and white patterns swirling across its surface. The physical manifestation of the stabilized nexus, Quitella identified, approaching it cautiously. A perfect representation of Universe 4's dual nature. "So we did it?" Vegeta asked, powering down from Super Saiyan Blue, looking unexpectedly impressed. The entire dimension is stabilized. Yes, Vados confirmed. And like the Universe 11 Nexus, a portion of the primordial energy has already returned to Naruto through their connection. Good, Vegeta nodded. Then let's get back. I've had enough of this twisted fun house. As they prepared to depart, Quitella approached the sphere, placing one small hand upon it. I will ensure this remains protected, he promised. Its energy will strengthen Universe 4 significantly. Remember, Vados cautioned, it is not merely a power source. It contains fragments of primordial consciousness. Treat it with appropriate respect. Quitella nodded, uncharacteristically solemn. I understand. Some powers transcend even divine authority. With the Universe 4 Nexus secured, Vados transported their group back toward the sacred world of the Kais, where the final phase of their cosmic struggle would soon begin. In the sacred world of the Kais, Naruto sat cross-legged beside a small pond, eyes closed in deep meditation. Around him, golden energy flowed in visible currents, responding to the distant stabilization of the nexus points. Each success sent a pulse of power back to him, memories, abilities, fragments of his original self gradually reintegrating. Nearby, 18 watched while Marin played with the oracle fish, an ancient, prophetic creature Beerus had reluctantly summoned at Krinoa's request. The fish seemed particularly fascinated with the little girl, swimming in complex patterns around her fingers as she dipped them in the water. She seems so normal, 18 murmured to Krillin, who stood beside her. How can she possibly be some cosmic nexus point? The same way you seem normal despite being cybernetically enhanced to surpass human limitations, Krillin replied with a small smile. Extraordinary things come in ordinary packages sometimes. The oracle fish suddenly stopped its playful movements, rising partially out of the water to stare directly at Marin. The 13th speaks through innocence, it intoned in an ancient voice. The final key turned not by force but by choice. When 13 become one, the circle either closes forever or breaks into infinite possibility. What does that mean? Krillin asked. Prophecy fish talks funny, Marin giggled, apparently untroubled by the cryptic proclamation. Before anyone could question the fish further, Naruto's eyes snapped open, glowing briefly with inner light. They've done it, he announced. Both nexus points are stabilized. You can feel it? 18 asked. Yes. Each stabilization returns a portion of my original power and consciousness. He stood, golden energy still swirling around him. The team should return shortly. As if on cue, space distorted nearby, and Goku's group materialized, followed moments later by Vegeta's team. Both groups looked battle-worn but triumphant. Mission accomplished, Goku announced cheerfully. The Universe 11 Nexus is all stabilized and being guarded by Jiren and the Pride Troopers. Universe 4's Nexus is secured as well, Vados reported. Though the manifestation was quite different, an entire dimension rather than a discrete object. That tracks with what I remember, Naruto nodded. Each nexus adapts to the nature of the reality it manifests in. As the groups shared details of their experiences, Zamasu listened from the periphery, his expression carefully neutral but his eyes calculating. The apprentice Kai had remained quiet throughout the day, observing everything with unsettling intensity. So what now? Vegeta demanded once the reports were complete. All 12 conventional nexus points are stabilized. What about the 13th? He glanced at Marin, who was showing the oracle fish her drawing. That's what we've been working on while you were gone, Naruto explained. Krinoa and the Supreme Kai have been researching ways to protect Marin while still allowing the 13th fragment to fulfill its purpose. And? Goku prompted. The fragment cannot be safely extracted, Krinoa explained, joining them. It's completely integrated with her biological and spiritual essence. Removing it would. She glanced at 18 and Krillin, leaving the dire consequence unstated. But we have discovered something interesting, the Supreme Kai added. The 13th fragment is different from the others. It doesn't need to be stabilized in the same way. It's already stable within Marin's being. Then what's the problem? Bu asked, confused. The problem is Kagaya, Naruto said grimly. She knows about Marin now. And she'll do anything to access the 13th fragment. It's the key to controlling the central cosmic nexus. So we protect the kid, Vegeta stated matter-of-factly. With all of us guarding her, even this Kagaya can't get through. It's not that simple, Kranoa sighed. The fragment within Marin resonates with the others. Now that all 12 conventional nexus points are stabilized, that resonance is strengthening. It creates a beacon, essentially. One that Kagaya can follow regardless of what protections we establish. There must be something we can do, 18 insisted, her usual cool demeanor cracking with maternal concern. Naruto was about to respond when he suddenly tensed, his gaze snapping to the sky. Something's coming. Everyone followed his gaze. The peaceful blue sky above the sacred world was darkening, clouds swirling into an unnatural vortex. At its center, a tear began to form, not the small rifts they had seen before, but a massive breach in reality itself. She's coming, Naruto stated, golden energy flaring around him. Kagaya is making her move. Here, the Supreme Kai gasped. She dares breach the sacred world itself. With all 12 nexus points stabilized, her connection to this reality has strengthened significantly, Kranoa explained, raising her staff defensively. The conventional barriers no longer impede her. Everyone, defensive positions around Marin, Naruto commanded, and the fighters immediately formed a perimeter around the child and her parents. Beerus, who had been napping nearby, opened one eye lazily. Is it starting already? How troublesome. Despite his casual tone, the destroyer god rose to his feet, destruction energy emanating from his form. The tear in reality widened, and a figure emerged, a woman of ethereal beauty with flowing white hair, pale skin, and most distinctively, pale eyes without pupils, surrounded by visible veins. She wore an elegant white kimono with tomo patterns, and a third eye was visible on her forehead. Kagaya, Naruto acknowledged, stepping forward to face her. You're looking well for someone who's been trapped between dimensions for eons. Naruto, she replied, her voice melodious yet somehow wrong, as if multiple voices spoke simultaneously. You've reclaimed much of your former glory, I see. Though still a shadow of what you once were. Her gaze swept over the assembled warriors. And you've made such interesting friends. Her eyes landed on Marin, and her expression shifted to one of intense hunger. The 13th fragment. How clever to hide it in plain sight, within a child no less. 18 stepped in front of her daughter, eyes cold with maternal fury. Touch her and die. Kagaya merely smiled. Your devotion is admirable, machine woman. But futile. She raised a delicate hand. I've come to reclaim what belongs to the natural order. You lost the right to define the natural order when you tried to unmake reality, Naruto countered, golden chakra swirling around him. The fragments chose separation for a reason. A flawed choice made in a moment of cosmic weakness, Kagaya replied dismissively. The multiverse as it exists now is a broken shadow of what should be. Fragmented, isolated universes ruled by lesser gods. She glanced disdainfully at Beerus. Playing at creation and destruction without understanding the true cosmic balance. Lady, I don't know what your deal is, Goku interrupted, stepping forward, but threatening kids is where I draw the line. You want to fight? I'm right here. Kagaya regarded him with mild curiosity. A scion. How quaint. She waved a hand dismissively, and reality rippled around Goku, suddenly encasing him in a crystal-like substance. Goku, several voices shouted in alarm. Don't worry, Kagaya smiled coldly. He's merely suspended temporarily. I have no desire to waste energy on unnecessary conflict. Before anyone could react further, Zamasu suddenly appeared beside Kagaya, a serene smile on his face. Perfect timing, Divine Mother, he addressed her respectfully. Everything is prepared as we discussed. Zamasu, the Supreme Kai gasped. What are you doing? Fulfilling my true purpose, the apprentice Kai replied calmly. Serving the will of one who truly understands the flaws of creation. You've been working with her all along, Naruto realized, pieces clicking into place. Feeding her information about our plans. Of course, Zamasu nodded. The mother's vision of reality purged of mortal imperfection aligns perfectly with my own. When she reached out to me across dimensions, I recognized the truth in her words immediately. Traitor. Vegeta snarled, powering up to attack. Wait, Naruto cautioned, sensing something wrong. This isn't just a betrayal. What have you done, Zamasu? The apprentice Kai's smile widened. I've merely prepared the way. The sacred world of the Kais exists at a unique junction point between realities, perfectly positioned for accessing the central cosmic nexus. With the proper adjustments. Horror dawned on the Supreme Kai's face. You've tampered with the sacred barriers. The ones that separate this realm from the cosmic foundations. Very good, Kagaya nodded approvingly. Your apprentice has talent, Supreme Kai. A pity it serves my purposes rather than yours. She raised both hands, and the ground beneath them trembled violently. Cracks appeared in the landscape, leaking golden white light from below. The central nexus, Kranoa whispered in horror. She's accessing it directly through the sacred world. We need to stop her now. Naruto shouted, leaping toward Kagaya with incredible speed. Their collision created a shockwave that knocked several fighters off their feet. Golden chakra clashed with Kagaya's pale energy, reality itself buckling around them. Taking advantage of the chaos, Zamasu moved toward Marin with frightening speed. Krillin intercepted him, throwing a destructo disc that the Kai casually deflected. Your devotion to the child is admirable, Zamasu commented. Misplaced, but admirable. Stay away from my family. Krillin launched himself at Zamasu, fighting with all his considerable skill. 18 joined the fray, her enhanced strength and newly developed chakra abilities making her a genuine threat even to a Kai. Together, the parents drove Zamasu back, their perfect teamwork creating openings neither could achieve alone. Impressive for mortals, Zamasu acknowledged, blood trickling from a cut on his cheek. But futile. He raised his hand, divine energy gathering, only to be interrupted by an energy blast from an unexpected source, Beerus. I don't appreciate traitors in the divine hierarchy, the destroyer god commented lazily, though his eyes were deadly serious. Makes us all look bad. Meanwhile, Naruto and Kagaya's battle had escalated to cosmic proportions. 6 golden arms had manifested behind Naruto, each forming different seals. Kagaya had revealed her true form, horns extending from her head, a third eye fully open on her forehead, and 10 tail-like appendages of pure energy extending from her back. You've grown weaker during your long sleep, Naruto, she taunted, deflecting his attacks with disturbing ease. You've only reclaimed fragments of your true power. Maybe, he conceded, golden chains erupting from his palms to bind her, but I've learned new tricks. The chains wrapped around Kagaya, momentarily restraining her. Naruto turned to Vados, who had been analyzing the cracks in reality. How bad is it? The central nexus is becoming directly accessible, she replied gravely. If Kagaya reaches it, she could potentially rewrite the fundamental laws of all 12 universes. Can we seal the breach? Possibly, but it would require enormous power focused through a precise medium. Vados glanced toward Marin. The 13th fragment would be ideal, but... We're not using my daughter as a cosmic band-aid, 18 interjected, having momentarily beaten Zamasu back with help from Beerus and Krillin. Of course not, Naruto agreed. There must be another way. A scream of rage drew their attention back to Kagaya, who had broken free of the chakra chains. Her beautiful face was contorted with fury. Enough games, she snarled, her third eye glowing ominously. Truth-seeking orbs. 10 black spheres materialized around her, each containing the power to nullify any technique, any energy, any reality it touched. She sent them flying toward different targets simultaneously, one each for Naruto, Vados, Beerus, Whis, Kranoa, and the remaining fighters. Don't let those touch you. Naruto warned. They erase whatever they contact. The fighters scattered, avoiding the deadly orbs with varying degrees of success. Beerus and Whis easily evaded theirs, while Piccolo was grazed by one, causing his arm to dissolve into nothingness. Damn it, the Namekian growled, regenerating the limb with visible effort. These aren't normal energy attacks. Amid the chaos, Zamasu made another move toward Marin. This time, Vegeta intercepted him, transforming into Super Saiyan Blue. Try getting past a Saiyan Prince, Kai, he challenged. Zamasu smiled thinly. With pleasure. Their battle joined the many others now raging across the sacred world. Reality itself seemed to be coming apart at the seams, the cracks in the ground widening, golden light spilling upward with increasing intensity. Through it all, Marin stood surprisingly calm, watching the battles with an expression too knowing for her young face. The oracle fish remained near her, still repeating its cryptic prophecy, the 13th speaks through innocence. The final key turned not by force but by choice. As the fighting intensified, Naruto found himself driven back toward the center of the fracturing landscape. Kagaya's power had grown tremendously since their ancient conflict, her connection to the emerging central nexus enhancing her abilities by the second. You cannot win this time, she told him, deflecting another of his attacks. The multiverse will return to its proper state, unified, perfect, under conscious direction rather than chaotic evolution. That's where you always got it wrong, Kagaya, Naruto replied, gathering his remaining strength. Perfection isn't the point. Growth is. Change. Evolution. The messy, unpredictable beauty of existence finding its own way. Poetic but meaningless, she dismissed. Your attachment to chaos doomed reality to fragmentation. I will repair what you broke. It wasn't broken. It was becoming something new. Their clash intensified, golden chakra against pale energy, primordial powers that hadn't directly confronted each other since the birth of the current multiverse. The sacred world trembled under the force of their battle, the cracks in reality widening further. Near the largest fissure, Vados and Whis had combined their efforts, using their staffs to try to contain the breach. Divine light flowed from the angels, creating a temporary barrier around the emerging central nexus. We cannot maintain this indefinitely, Whis informed the others, uncharacteristic strain in his voice. The nexus is too powerful, too fundamental to be restrained by even angelic authority. We need to seal it permanently, Vados added. But that would require. Her voice trailed off as a small figure walked past her, Marin, moving with purpose toward the glowing fissure, the oracle fish floating in the air beside her. Marin. 18 screamed, breaking away from her battle with one of Kagaya's truth-seeking orbs. Get back here. The little girl didn't respond, continuing her steady approach to the breach. Golden light from below illuminated her features, reflecting in eyes that suddenly seemed ancient and knowing. The 13th speaks, the oracle fish intoned. The choice approaches. Kagaya noticed the child's movement and smiled triumphantly. Yes. Come, 13th fragment. Fulfill your purpose. No. Naruto broke away from their battle, dashing toward Marin, but Kagaya intercepted him with blinding speed. Too late, old friend, she whispered. The circle closes as it was always meant to. 18 reached her daughter first, grabbing her shoulders to pull her back from the fissure. Marin, honey, you need to stay away from there. The little girl looked up at her mother, but the eyes that met 18's weren't entirely her daughter's. They glowed with inner golden light, ancient and knowing. It's okay, mommy, she said, her voice overlaid with harmonics that resonated with the emerging nexus. I understand now. I know what I need to do. Marin. 18 whispered, recognizing her daughter but sensing something else present as well, not possessing her, but awakening within her. The fragment has awakened, Kagaya called, still restraining Naruto. The 13th key turns. Krillin reached them, standing protectively beside his family. Whatever's happening, we face it together. Marin smiled at her father, then turned back to the fissure. The central cosmic nexus was now partially visible, a swirling vortex of golden-white energy, neither solid nor liquid nor gas but something more fundamental, the raw material of reality itself. The final key turned not by force but by choice, Marin quoted the Oracle Fish's prophecy. I choose. Choose what, sweetie? Krillin asked, confused and terrified. Whether the circle closes forever or breaks into infinite possibility, she replied, the glow in her eyes intensifying. Understanding dawned on Naruto's face as he continued struggling against Kagaya's hold. She's right, he called to 18 and Krillin. The 13th fragment isn't just a power source, it's a choice point. It always has been. What does that mean? 18 demanded. It means, Krinoa explained, joining them at the edge of the fissure, that unlike the other 12 fragments, which had predetermined roles, the 13th was created with free will. The power to choose the ultimate fate of the nexus system. And that power was entrusted to a child. Krillin exclaimed. Not by accident, Naruto called. Innocence sees truth that experience blinds us to. That's why the fragment chose Marin in the first place. Kagaya's expression had changed from triumph to uncertainty. No. The 13th fragment reintegrates with the others. That is its purpose. To complete the circle. Or to break it open, Naruto countered. That was always the dual nature of the 13th, Kagaya. The possibility of either ending, yours or mine. Marin stepped closer to the fissure, golden light from the nexus rising to meet her. Everyone watched, transfixed, as reality itself seemed to hold its breath. Marin, 18 said softly, kneeling beside her daughter despite the overwhelming energies swirling around them. Whatever you're feeling right now, whatever you think you need to do, you don't have to do it alone. Mom's right, Krillin added, joining them. We're with you, no matter what. Marin looked at her parents, the ancient awareness in her eyes softening with pure childlike love. I know. That's why I can do this. She turned back to the nexus. Because I know what family means. What love is. What's worth protecting. She reached out, small hand extending toward the swirling cosmic energy. Golden light leapt up to meet her touch, wrapping around her fingers like a living thing. No. Kagaya screamed, releasing Naruto to lunge toward the child. You cannot make this choice alone. She's not alone, 18 stated firmly, placing her hand over her daughter's. To her surprise, the golden energy accepted her touch as well, flowing over both their hands. Krillin joined them, adding his hand to the connection. Never alone. Naruto, freed from Kagaya's grasp, moved with blinding speed to intercept her before she could reach the family. Their choice, Kagaya. Not yours. Not mine. Theirs. As the family's hands connected with the central nexus, something remarkable happened. Instead of the cataclysmic reintegration Kagaya had sought or the permanent sealing Naruto had feared, the nexus responded in an entirely new way. The golden energy flowed upward, surrounding Marin, 18, and Krillin in a protective cocoon of light. What's happening? Vados asked, her angelic senses overwhelmed by the cosmic energies at play. A third option, Krinoa realized, watching in wonder. The 13th fragment isn't closing the circle or breaking it, it's transforming it. Within the golden cocoon, Marin spoke, her voice resonating with power beyond her years. The nexus doesn't belong to anyone. Not to Kagaya. Not to Naruto. Not to gods or councils or angels. It belongs to life itself. The energy cocoon expanded, tendrils of golden light extending outward to touch each of the stabilized nexus points across the 12 universes. A new pattern formed, not a circle closing in on itself, not a fragmentation into chaos, but an interconnected network, a living web of energy that preserved individuality while creating harmony. She's rewriting the system, Naruto breathed, understanding dawning. Creating a distributed network instead of a centralized power point. Impossible. Kagaya cried, genuine fear in her voice for the first time. The fragments must reunite under conscious control. That is the only way to prevent cosmic entropy. Or maybe conscious control is the problem, Naruto suggested quietly. Maybe the multiverse needs to find its own balance, its own path. As the new network solidified, reality itself seemed to sigh with relief. The cracks in the sacred world began to heal. The violent energies calmed. The central nexus, rather than emerging fully or sealing completely, transformed into a pulsing heart at the center of the new cosmic web, accessible to all, controllable by none. The golden cocoon around the family dissolved, leaving Marin looking like an ordinary child again, though the awareness in her eyes remained. "Did I do good?" she asked, suddenly sounding very much like a normal little girl seeking approval. 18 pulled her daughter into a fierce hug. "You did amazing, sweetie. Beyond amazing." Kagaya stood frozen, watching her grand design unravel before her eyes. "No," she whispered. "This isn't the way it was meant to be." "Maybe that's the point," Naruto said, approaching her cautiously. "Maybe it wasn't meant to be any particular way. Maybe that was our mistake from the beginning, thinking we knew better than reality itself." For a moment, something shifted in Kagaya's expression, a flicker of the being she had been before ambition and certainty had hardened into dogma. Then her face contorted with rage. "I reject this outcome," she snarled, gathering her remaining power. "If I cannot reshape reality, I will unmake it and start anew elsewhere." She launched herself toward the transformed central nexus, hands outstretched to corrupt its newly established pattern. Naruto moved to intercept, but even his speed might not be enough. Then something unexpected happened. Zamasu, who had been fighting Vegeta and Beerus nearby, suddenly appeared in Kagaya's path. "No, mother," he said, his expression complex. "This is not our path to godhood." "Stand aside, disciple," Kagaya commanded. "Your usefulness ends here." "I think not," Zamasu replied calmly. "I sought perfection, yes. Order, certainly. But not annihilation." He glanced at the new cosmic web, appreciation in his eyes despite himself. "There is elegance in this solution. A divine symmetry I had not considered." Kagaya's face twisted with fury. "Traitor." She struck with lethal force, her hand piercing Zamasu's chest. The Kai gasped in pain but used the moment of contact to wrap his arms around her, restraining her with surprising strength. "Now, Sage," he called to Naruto. "While she's contained." Naruto didn't waste the opportunity. His hands flashed through complex seals, golden chakra building around him in visible waves. 6 paths, cosmic sealing technique. Golden chains erupted from his palms, wrapping around both Kagaya and Zamasu. The chains tightened, glowing with symbols of ancient power. "This won't hold me forever," Kagaya warned, struggling against the restraints. "I am primordial. I am eternal." "Not anymore," Naruto replied, completing the technique. "The multiverse has chosen its own path now. Your role, our role, has changed." The sealing technique reached its climax, creating a dimensional rift unlike Kagaya's tears in reality. This portal was structured, stable, a proper bridge between realities rather than a destructive breach. "Where are you sending me?" she demanded, still fighting the chains. "To reflection," Naruto answered. "A realm between realities where you can observe but not interfere. Where perhaps, given enough time, you might understand what the 13th fragment showed us today." "And me?" Zamasu asked, blood flowing freely from his chest wound. Naruto's expression softened slightly. That depends on you. The portal leads to a nexus of possibility. Your path from there is your own choice. Zamasu nodded once, acceptance in his eyes. Perhaps that is fitting. Choice seems to be the lesson of the day. The chains pulled them toward the portal. Kagaya fought to the last, her rage palpable. This isn't over, Naruto. Reality will eventually decay without proper guidance. When it does, I will return. Maybe, Naruto conceded. But that's tomorrow's problem. Today, the multiverse chose freedom. With a final surge of power, the chains pulled both Kagaya and Zamasu through the portal. It sealed behind them with a sound like a gentle sigh, leaving only a faint shimmer in the air that quickly faded. The sacred world fell silent. The battles had ended. The cosmic crisis, for the moment, had passed. Goku, finally freed from his crystal prison as Kagaya's power faded, stretched dramatically. Did I miss the whole thing? Ah, man. Despite the tension, several people laughed, a release of emotion after the cosmic showdown. What happens now? 18 asked, holding Marin close, Krillin's arm around both of them. Will she be okay? All eyes turned to Naruto, who approached the family carefully. He knelt before Marin, studying her with gentle attention. The 13th fragment has fulfilled its cosmic purpose, he explained. It's still part of her, but dormant now, integrated completely with her natural energy. She'll grow up with some unusual abilities, probably. But she's still Marin. Just extra special, the little girl added with a proud smile. Extra special indeed, Naruto agreed, ruffling her hair affectionately. Kranoa approached, her expression thoughtful. The Cosmic Council will have questions. Demands, more likely. Let them come, Beerus yawned, stretching lazily. They've been put in their place once today. They can be again if necessary. Besides, Whis added cheerfully, with the new cosmic network established, their authority has been somewhat redefined. The central nexus is no longer a single point they can hope to control. Which reminds me, Vados turned to Naruto. Your power, with the nexus point stabilized but distributed rather than reintegrated, what becomes of you? It was a question everyone suddenly realized they wanted answered. Naruto had entered their lives as an ancient, primordial entity seeking to reclaim his fragmented power. Now that the fragments had found a new configuration, what would he choose? Naruto looked thoughtful, then smiled, not the confident smirk of a god, but the warm expression of someone who has found unexpected peace. I'm still me, he said simply. Still connected to the Nexus network, still with access to much of my original power. But not bound by the old patterns anymore. He looked around at the diverse group of fighters, gods, angels, and mortals who had come together to face cosmic threat. I think I'd like to stay a while. Learn about this version of reality. Maybe find a place in it. You'd be welcome on Earth, Krillin offered spontaneously. We've got plenty of room at Kame House. Or Capsule Corp, Bulma added. The company could use someone with your unique perspective on energy systems. Naruto laughed. Thanks. I might take you up on that. His gaze drifted to Vados, then 18, lingering on each with unmistakable connection. I think there are still things for me to discover here. And what of the angel's role in all this? Whis inquired, looking to his sister. Vados, your independent actions have raised questions among our kind. Vados met her brother's gaze steadily. Perhaps it's time for angels to consider more independence. The cosmic balance has changed. Should we not evolve with it? The Grand Priest would have questions, they all knew. As would Zeno, once the Omni King became aware of the cosmic restructuring. But those were concerns for another day. For now, as they gathered in the healing landscape of the sacred world, there was a sense of new beginning. The multiverse had faced a fundamental choice point and emerged transformed, neither returned to ancient unity nor fractured beyond repair, but evolved into something new, something with both structure and freedom. Naruto looked up at the sky, where the new cosmic web was visible to those with eyes to see it, golden threads connecting all 12 universes in a living network of energy and information. Somewhere within that web, he could sense the dormant presence of Kagaya, sealed but not destroyed, part of the cosmic balance in her own way. "What are you thinking?" 18 asked, noticing his contemplative expression. "That endings are rarely what we expect," he replied. "And that beginnings often come disguised as conclusions." The oracle fish, still hovering nearby, spoke one final prophecy: the circle transforms, neither closed nor broken. The primordial becomes new again. The journey continues through choice, not destiny. Naruto smiled. For an entity who had existed since before the current concept of time, who had seen universes born and die, who had fought for cosmic ideals beyond mortal comprehension, the prospect of simply living, of experiencing this reality as it unfolded naturally, felt surprisingly like coming home. "So," he said, turning to his new friends, "who's going to teach me about this pizza thing Goku keeps mentioning? It sounds important." Laughter rippled through the group, cosmic tension giving way to something far more valuable: connection, camaraderie, the simple joy of existing together in a multiverse that had chosen its own path forward. And somewhere in the cosmic web, a small golden thread connected directly to Marin pulsed with approval. The 13th fragment, the cosmic choice point, had found its perfect expression, not in godhood or destruction or perfect order, but in the messy, beautiful, endless possibility of life finding its own way forward. The cosmic saga of the primordial sages had reached its conclusion. The human story was just beginning. The end. Thank you for watching this video. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video.